Big quarterback.
Not even Monday morning no more, you dig? I just hang out on Earth live. Hallelujah. All praises, glory, and honor to the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And honor and glory of his only begotten beloved Son. Another Monday quarterbacking in the building. Y'all see the topic, the historical evidence of the Messiah. We're gonna put the haters to bed. There's a lot of antichrist spirits running around, and they realize they can't deal with the New Testament, so then they try to say, well, no historian ever talked about a Messiah, or there's nothing in history outside Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John that speaks of him. You get all these type of naysayers, you know what I'm saying? So we got a few actually secular sources quoting from his enemies that lived before Council of Nicaea. Nicaea was the forming of the Catholic religion, 325 AD, 321 AD, something like that, under the Roman Emperor Constantine. You understand? Most who don't believe a Messiah ever existed claims that that's when Messiah was invented at the Council of Nicaea. You understand? That's just a lack of study. That's a lack of study, a lack of historical research, and all that. You understand? So if we reach into history and show and pull documents that are before the Council of Nicaea by hundreds of years, you understand? Then the argument can never be said that the Messiah was invented in 325 AD at the Council of Nicaea. You understand? So we got a few, like I say, historical evidence of the Messiah. We're going to go into these people ain't Hebrews. These are actually more likely Romans, those who actually hated the Messiah, right, that you read about as Christ in the New Testament, who was not a white boy out of Europe nowhere. You understand? But his enemies are testifying about him. Even though they talking bad, they're still testifying about him and his followers, and the extreme measures they used to go through to silence his movement. You understand? So you don't talk bad about people that don't exist. A lot of y'all like MLK, Martin, or Michael King, Martin Luther King, and some of y'all don't. But when you're done talking, the argument can never be made that he didn't exist. See what I'm saying? So if we got evidence from someone's enemies talking bad about him, you understand? That only proves an existence, because nobody's making books. Nobody's coming up with books about the Easter Bunny and having long arguments whether someone existed or not. All right? Nobody's doing that. Nobody's coming up with old Jolly Saint Nick, you feel me, and wondering if he existed or not. People ain't writing whole books over the followers of the Easter Bunny or the followers of Jolly Saint Nick. You feel me? And the extreme measures they went through to silence the movement. This cat here wrote a whole book. And this was before 325 AD as well, man. Celsus on the True Doctrine, a discourse against who? The Christians. Christianity wasn't formed in 325 AD. This book was written around 175 AD, showing you there were people in the earth that followed the Messiah. You understand? Kept commandments and all that. You understand? But it shook Rome to his very foundation, and it pissed off a lot of folks, man. You feel me? So again, the religion of Christianity, or the Roman Catholicism, was formed in 321 or 325 AD at the Council of Nicaea under the Emperor Constantine. The Messiah was not invented. The Messiah you read about in that New Testament, airtight, valid. And that makes a lot of Negroes mad today, because we stand so hard on it. And we didn't even need none of this to prove what we believe, to prove our faith. This is for y'all. Because the challenge was, there are no historical documents, none, about a Messiah who walked this earth 2,000 years ago. That it's all a fabrication. It was made up. You understand? But when we dive into some of these, you understand? Don't spill your coffee. Somebody finna be mad. Somebody's lying to you.
Yeah.
Somebody's lying to you. You understand? You got anything you want to say, bro?
I'm ready. I'm ready for the get down. To be honest, Shalom family. We almost here into this Passover week, so almost ready. You know what I'm saying? It'd be good to go over some of those videos, the previous videos that we had done. It bring you up into what was going on during this time coming up until the Passover. You know what I'm saying? You will know what these days was like for us and our generations during these times. And also the Christ himself as he was being prepped to be the Passover lamb. You know what I'm saying? We can go over and just still check out those how those days work, keep us up to speed as we go through it. And yeah, I'm ready to hammer this situation on up.
Ready to get her done, right? All right, this right here is called the Annals of Imperial Rome by Cornelius Tacitus. Cornelius Tacitus was not a friend or an ally of the Israelites. He was actually an enemy. You understand? We're going to read a summary on the back about what this entire document is. You feel me? And if the Messiah was not invented in 325 AD, then he shouldn't be in here. Because as far as this record goes, it's the 66 AD. Before the fall of Jerusalem. Now, this document starts around 14 AD and ends around 66 AD. So there are documents written out of ancient Rome. You understand? The Messiah lived between these years right here. He was put to death between these years right here that we're talking about. So if he wasn't invented to a 325 AD at the Council of Nicaea, this is not dealing with the Council of Nicaea. That was 300 years later. Read the back of this, my brother. At the Annals of Imperial Rome by Cornelius Tacitus. Y'all look it up. And then you start realizing, man, somebody's straight lying. Somebody's trying to rob you of your salvation. That's what's going on here. You understand? And got people thinking a pizza family wrote the New Testament or something. The pizza family.
Pizza group.
You understand? Meanwhile, trying to figure out a way to wiggle out of every prophecy spoken of by the Hebrew Torah that got to do with Mashiach, man. It's a crying shame. Right? But the claim was we can't find no historian that talked about him. Well, hey, you about to swallow them words. And I'm specifically talking to a group of Negroes out of New York that claim the Messiah never existed. The his story was made up. It's about as real as Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Yeah, some of you Negroes be commenting on the comment board over videos we did months ago. You understand? Months ago. But you men are lying about the Messiah, man. You're lying. All right, let's get this. What does it say on the back?
It say one of the most important historical records from classical and antiquity.
Now trip off that. It said one of the most what?
Most important historical records.
One of the most important historical records. Go ahead, Hebrew.
From classical antiquity.
Classical antiquity, meaning history. Right? From the time that the Romans, because the Romans ruled the world regardless if you like it or not. They had an empire. To this day, they still talk about it. All right? This is one of the most important historical records from classical antiquity. All right? Because you say nobody talked about them, right? Go ahead,
The annals.
The annals.
The annals, yeah. The annals of Imperial Rome.
Annals means records. The records of Imperial Rome. This is during the time that the Caesars were ruling. This ain't got nothing to do with Rome after it came up with a religion called Christianity and Catholicism. We talking about Imperial Rome, we talking about when the Caesars ruled. You dig? When Caesar was looked at as God. Let's read,
It says, chronicles the history of the Roman Empire from the reign of Tiberius.
Reign of who?
Tiberius.
Look up Tiberius Caesar and see if he existed or not. These records start out from the reign of Tiberius, who was alive, who was ruling while the Messiah was walking this earth, man. Who was ruling when the Messiah was walking this earth as a young man. The reign of Tiberius Caesar. Go ahead, Hebrew.
That's all. Beginning in 14 AD to the reign of Nero, ending in 66 AD.
So this ain't got nothing to do. What are we? 300 years? 300 years before the Council of Nicaea? This record deals with Rome from 14 AD to 66 AD. That's it. Now you talking about what? 48 years? A little bit more than that? What's 14 to 66? What's that? Huh? Y'all know? 52 years, man. I thought you was good at math, brother. 52 years. I thought you was gonna answer, brother. My bad. Thought you was good with numbers, my brother. About 52 years. You feel me? Yep, because 14 and 50 is 64 to 66, 52 years. So this record got to do with a 52-year time span in the Roman Empire, Imperial Rome, when Caesars was ruling. Constantine, who formed Christianity, wasn't even born yet. You see this? So we shouldn't be able to look at no Roman record and read nothing about a Christ or any of his followers, because how he got followers if he didn't exist until 300 years later? How are you following something that was invented to 300 years after the event? How? Let's read, my brother.
Say written by Cornelius Tacitus,
right?
Tacitus, Roman senator during the 2nd century A.D. The Annals of Imperial Rome.
So he was a senator.
Yeah, he was a senator.
He had access to the archives in Rome. You feel me? So it was nothing for him to go right into, like you got your Library of Congress today. It was nothing for him to go right into the records where they keep all the annals, all the records at. You understand? And go through from the reign of Tiberius to the reign of Nero. Nothing. Everything's well documented. All right. So would be between these reigns of these Caesars, there should be nothing about a Christ who was crucified in Judea or any followers. Because the claim is he wasn't invented in what, 325 AD? That's the claim. But this book right here only goes from 14 AD to 66 AD, bro. These records are 2,000 years old. Go ahead, Doc.
The Annals of Imperial Rome is a detailed first-hand account.
Hold on, who? A detailed what?
A detailed first-hand account.
So we talking about first-hand accounts. We ain't talking about what he was told by her and what she was told by him. And we talking about a detailed first-hand account of what's going on with the Roman Empire in the years of 14 AD to 66 AD. Powerful. Go ahead, Doc.
That's what it is. A detailed first-hand account of the early Roman Empire. Presented in this volume is the classic translation of Alfred J. John Church and William Jackson Broadrib
or some crazy stuff like that. That's it for that. So the Annals of Imperial Rome, once again, you feel me, put together by Cornelius Tacitus because he was a Roman senator who had access to the archives in Rome, right? And this is only a 52-year stretch, 14 AD to 66 AD. If the Messiah Christ, you understand, what invented in 325 AD, he shouldn't be in these records right here. It's 300 years earlier. It's a lot of non-messianics that make that claim, but don't research, right? So read this right here for me, guys. We're going to read the highlighted part. We on page 216 and 217 of the Annals of Imperial Rome. The highlighted parts, right? It's going to go into it. And then we're going to see if it matches up with anything with the scripture. All right? Now remember, this guy's a Roman senator. He's not a follower of the Messiah. He's not a follower of him at all. He's not a follower of him at all. He has no reason to even lie because he's an enemy of his. So he ain't got no reason to lie about his existence. How you hate something that never existed? That don't make sense. Right? How you writing about a whole bunch of people that followed someone that never existed? If there was no Christ or Messiah before the year 300 AD, there should be no followers of his either before 325 AD, because he wasn't invented till then. Now, see how this works? So when they make claims like that, they have you thinking, dang, I may be worshiping a figment of my imagination, or I may be worshiping something that was stolen out of Egypt, or whatever. You understand? That's the play with your mind to have you thinking that the scriptures is not real and not valid. That's the whole point. If we can get you not to believe a certain way, we can control you. All right, what'd that say, y'all? Let's get into it.
It say, consequently, to get rid of the report, Nero fasted the guilt and inflicted the most exquisite tortures on a class hated for their abominations.
It says Nero, right? Nero Caesar. This was a sadistic heathen. But notice it says he put exquisite tortures. Huh? I mean, this cat was serious with these torture devices. Well, them Romans wasn't playing no game. Exquisite tortures on a class of people hated. It says a class of people hated for their abominations. You feel me? A class of people hated. So he talking about sis back there. It says a class of people hated for their abominations, right? Hated. So we can take right out of this that our way of life was hated by the Romans. You understand? What we did was not nothing that was pro-Rome. It was turning the very fabric of Roman society down. So Cornelius go in and say Nero put exquisite tortures on a people, a class of people hated for their abominations. So what we believe is an abomination to the Romans.
You see the way these heathens look at you for the things that you do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or the things that we did. It said that we was hated.
Yeah.
And it said called our doings abominations.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah. Like to this day, if y'all think the New Testament is pro-Roman, it's actually not. The book of Romans was written to the believing Hebrews living in Rome.
No doubt.
And based off the historical record, guess who was being persecuted in Rome? You feel me? Our people. All right, go ahead, Hebrew.
Yeah, it's hated for their abominations.
Yeah.
Called Christians by the populace.
All right, so hold your spot there. Let's get two scriptures. I may need y'all to read something for me too. All right, I get two scriptures real quick. Hold your spot there. Let's go to Acts 16, 19 through 21. Acts 16. We're gonna prove that this way of living is not lawful for Romans to observe. It's not lawful for Romans to observe this way of living. 19 through 21. And then we're going to go show when these people were first called Christian, meaning simply a follower of the anointed one. There's a difference between Christian and Christianity.
No doubt.
Christianity is the religion formed by the Roman Catholics in 325 AD.
Yeah.
If you want to, if the scripture in English is saying Christian, it's only in there 3 times. And every time it's talking about those who followed the anointed one. So, but we were called that not by the Most High or by the Messiah, by outsiders. You know what I'm saying? It's like we call niggas. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? You call whatever you call it. It's another byword proverb. But when you're done talking, you get to the root of it, it's saying you follow the Messiah. We'll show them scriptures too, that Christ means Messiah. All right? Acts 16.
Acts chapter 16 and verse 19.
Yes, sir.
It says, and when her master saw that the hope of their gain was gone, they caught Paul and Silas and drew them into the marketplace unto the rulers and brought them to the magistrates, saying, these men being Jews.
These men being who?
Being Jews.
So we talking about Paul and them was not white Romans, they was Hebrews. Him and Silas. These men being Jews, go ahead.
Do exceedingly trouble our city.
Do what?
Exceedingly trouble our city.
I mean, they was spreading their gospel so much that it was causing riots within all these Roman provinces. Riots. These men trouble our city. Exceedingly trouble our city. So that show you this gospel is anti-Roman. It ain't pro-Roman or pro-American. It's anti-American, anti-Roman. They saying it. What they believe, this is once Paul woke up. They said these men are exceedingly troubling our city. I thought everybody loved Jesus. What happened? What do you mean these men are troubling your city? How? Because they're preaching the true gospel, which is contrary to what Romans believe. See that? Go ahead, Hebrew.
And teach customs which are not lawful for us to receive, neither to observe, being Romans.
Did you see that? It ain't lawful for us to observe or to receive, being Romans. So when we read in the record, it said that people hated for what? Their abominations. Because if it's not lawful for a Roman to do it, it means it's abominable.
No doubt.
If it's not lawful for a Roman to do, or anybody do, that means the opposite of being lawful is unlawful. You feel me? It's abominable. So we read in the record a class of people hated for their abomination. Now, Paul was a follower of the Messiah, but that didn't stop him from being a Hebrew. He was a Jew, but what he was speaking troubled Rome. All right? Where you at, Doc?
That was 21.
That was 21. Okay, need Acts 17. Go one chapter. Acts 17. Read 4 through 6 for me. Acts 17, 4 through 6.
You want to Acts chapter 17,
Yep.
verse 4.
Yes, sir.
And some of them believed and consorted with Paul and Silas, and of the devout Greeks a great multitude, and of the chief women not a few.
Yeah.
But the Jews which believed not.
So then you always got that faction. You got, we just read Paul and them was Jews, right? But they believed in the Messiah, right? But you got a faction of our people that are Hebrews to this day on Facebook everywhere that don't believe. So these are our enemies when you're done talking. Our people don't want to believe it. I mean, these may be the enemies we were told to pray for, but nonetheless, they are enemies, right? Because the Jews that believe not, what did they do against these brothers? Go ahead.
Hey, you got to see what they was believing, though, and what these brothers are teaching. Because see, they was teaching the resurrection at this time. That's what they was teaching: the resurrection of Christ or the Messiah. So even they teaching that, you still had certain people that still want to live, but under the old laws. You know what I'm saying? Under the Levitical priesthood is what I'm saying. So that's what they was trying to live under. So you had brothers that was still coming out of there, or things that had to be checked for people that didn't accept the resurrection of the Messiah.
Yeah, yeah. Still thought you had to go sacrifice some animals for the remission of your sins. Dude. Oh wait, and ain't none of you non-believers even doing that today. None of y'all. We was reading through what was that, Leviticus 19, where it go through certain purification to be made clean after you done touched the dead body and all that, and how you had to get a heifer that had been unblemished and burn that and take the ashes and put that in water. And like, y'all supposed to be doing that if y'all don't believe in the Messiah. Y'all supposed to go find you a heifer, burn it up to ashes, take the ashes, sprinkle it in water, and that's your water purification. Huh? Y'all not even doing that. You feel me? You stand in violation of the Most High's Torah at the very second because you ain't accepted the Messiah. Right? Our belief in what happened makes us clean. It's all a belief. It's an ideal, a belief. They call it a faith, right? All right, go ahead, Hebrew. What it say?
It say, but the Jews which believe not, moved within it, took unto them certain lewd fellows of the baser sort.
He just went and got him some jack boys. You know what I'm saying? Got him some hitmen real quick. They don't believe so much, they'll hire some people to kill. To silence the movement that bad, you'll hire a group of misfits to kill your brothers. Because they talking something different than what you talking about. Belief, man. It's all about belief. And people then fell out over beliefs, died over beliefs. All of it, man. Relationships dissolve over belief, all of it.
And because it cuts through a lot of stuff, though, things that you do, it convicts you. When you get to reading and you get to understanding the word, it convicts you of a lot of situations. So when that conviction come up on you and it cuts you, then you don't want to get hit like that again. A lot of this stuff you try to cover up. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, we gotta stop this talk. What's going on?
Well, the jig is up.
Yeah, straight up.
Come on, Hebrew.
But it's a certain lewd fellows of the baser sort.
Lewd of the baser sort. Base men. You ain't got these Negroes ain't got no morals, no nothing. Huh? We mercenaries. You pay us to hit somebody, they getting hit.
Right. And gather a company and set all the city on an uproar and assaulted the house of Jason.
See that? Because that's where Paul and them was at. Right? So he assaults his house. You feel me? They, kicking the door, bring them out of here. Right? Caused a riot real quick based off belief. Right? Go ahead, Doc.
And sought to bring them out to the people.
Right.
And when they found them not, they drew Jason and certain brethren into the rulers of the city, crying, saying these that have turned the world upside down are come hither also.
See what they saying about the gospel? It turns the world upside down. These that have turned the world upside down, they come here too. They here amongst us. That's showing you that it was commotion. It's just like when we came out of Egypt, everybody knew. When the Messiah was crucified and his mission went forth, man, everybody knew about it. Everybody knew. They knew that what was being taught was turning the world upside down. It was turning Rome limb from limb. That's what it was doing. And to this day, it's the same gospel. It's the same gospel, man. When it's taught right, it's the same thing. You become a threat to the powers that be when you believe this right here. All right, what verse you in out?
That was 6.
All right, that's it for that. I need Acts 11. We all in Acts. Actions of the apostles.
No doubt.
Acts 11:26 to show when we were first called Christian, because that's what the book said. A class of people hated for their abominations, called Christian by who? By the populace, by outsiders. The Bible says the same thing.
This book of Acts is definitely action packed, man. Like there's a lot of stuff going on from disciples to apostles. You know what I'm saying? Once these brothers became apostles, there's a lot of action packed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's a different, totally different mindset. Amen. Which every believer who will call himself a believer, after you would see the resurrection of the Messiah, and in 40 days see him after his return, your faith went somewhere.
It's major league
You know
at that point.
It's like whatever. You can't buy it. No, it's nothing you can go pay for. Definitely after that, you can't go buy that.
And then think about what they do. You know, some people use the fear of death as a controlling mechanism over you. But what that do for your faith, boy, you don't witness the resurrection, rap with him for 40 days, and he ascends on high. And look, you witness all that, right? And then they bring you before the courts and the judges as if they can threaten you with death. And you like, look, my master got power over death. I know for a fact. So anything about fearing death is off the table. You can't control, if you can't control the fear of death, if you can't control something that he fears, you did, then you can't control him. Can't control him at that point. A lot of people had that fear there, false evidence appearing real. You know, the scriptures say the Most High gave us the spirit of fear, right? Because if someone has you afraid, they control you. They control you. But if that is off the table, you dig? Now you're a threat because they can't control you. They need you in a certain mindset, moving in a certain vibration in spirit so they can forever rule over you. But if you like, look, that's off the table. Later for death means nothing. Now you're what's called a threat to the establishment. You feel me? That's when all that, you know, that's when they get to happen. Acts 11:26. Acts 11:26. All praise to the Most High God. Honor and humility, STL, Sect of the Nazarene, Hebrew Israelite Radio Network, Order Melchizedek Camp out the STL, House of Zion Homeschool, and the list goes on, man. We out here working. We love y'all prayers. We love y'all support, man. Just keep us in y'all prayers. You don't need CNN to know it's war outside.
War outside.
It's war outside. Yeah. All right, let's get it done, bro.
Acts chapter 11.
Yeah.
We'll start at verse 25.
And for y'all that don't know, we still in the annals of Imperial Rome. We just going to show how this historical document is true because it's matching up with the scripture. It shows that what we believe is unlawful for the Romans because the record called what we believe what? An abomination. Then it said that these people that followed the Messiah were first called Christian by who? Outsiders. Let's go verify that with the Bible. Acts 11:26.
All right. I'm gonna start at 25. It says, verse 25, it says, then departed Barnabas to Tarsus for to seek Saul. And when he had found him, he brought him to Antioch. And it came to pass that a whole year they assembled themselves with the church and taught much people.
And look, Barnabas and all them are Israelites, for y'all that don't know. Barnabas is Israelite, Paul is Israelite, Silas is Israelite. When they go on to hear the law and the prophets read, even in Gentile lands, you understand? Gentiles don't run synagogues. These are Israelites, you understand? And this is way before the conversion of Jewish folk in 800 AD. This is way before that. All right, go ahead, Hebrew.
And taught much people.
Yeah.
And the disciples were called Christians first in Antioch.
At Antioch. So we can go back to the annals of Imperial Rome now. Because everything is said, a class of people hated for their abominations called Christian by outsiders. We just read was the disciples were first called Christian in Antioch. You feel me? So it ain't nothing somebody say that. Just be like, I ain't into Christianity, the religion. You feel me? I'm a Messiah follower. I don't run around calling myself a Christian either. I'm just saying, you can't knock what's in the scriptures in there. So if somebody would say, well, over here in Acts 11, it say Christian, it simply means a follower of the Messiah. So it's just like somebody called me you know what I'm saying, a Negro or something. I mean, I don't get offended. I know what you're saying. You dig? Like, I don't get offended just because you're not on the level to know who it is and what it is I'm on. So I understand it. But there's a difference between Christianity and the word Christian itself. It simply means you just follow Messiah. We're going to get that too in John 1:41 and John 4:25. It's going to say the same thing. Christ means Messiah. It just means you follow the Messiah. You understand? Messianic brew to the bone. How about that? All right. All right. Read that again, bro. What it say? Let's get it.
I'm going to start this over and there's
Try to show for anybody. Somebody just not getting in. We're going over historical records. The Negroes are saying that the non-believers are saying that there are no historical evidence of the Messiah outside of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. It was all made up. Annals of Imperial Rome by Cornelius Tacitus from the years of 14 AD to 66 AD. 14 AD to 66 AD. You dig? A 52-year time frame, and the Council of Nicaea wasn't even around to 300 years later. So if you saying the Messiah was invented at the Council of Nicaea, he should not be in these records right here. Shouldn't be in there because this is only between 14 AD and 66 AD. Let's get it, Hebrew. Page 216. Page 216. Yes, sir.
It say, consequently, to get rid of the report, Nero fasted the guilt and inflicted the most exquisite tortures on a class hated for their abominations, called Christians by the popular.
We just went over that and showed that with scripture, that's true, right? Go ahead.
Christus, from whom the name had its origin, suffered the extreme penalty during the reign of Tiberius at the hand of one of our procurators, Pontius Pilate.
Pontius Pilatus. I've heard of him before. Yeah. I believe he's in the book of John, if I'm not mistaken here. This just said Christus, or Christ, from whom the name had its origin, suffered an extreme penalty during the reign of Tiberius by the hands of one of our, because he was a Roman, like Cornelius Tacitus is a Roman, one of our procurators, Pontius Pilate. So Pilate is in the records of Rome. Not only Pilate, but whom was crucified on Pilate's watch was the Messiah, the Christ. And even Cornelius Tacitus got enough sense to say, these people that Nero was afflicting with exquisite tortures, they were followers of him, who was crucified under Pontius Pilate. These are in the records of Rome, and these ain't pro-Christian or pro-Jewish sources.
Right.
These are the enemies of the Israelites. But even though they talking bad about them, guess what they're admitting by talking bad about them?
That the event went on.
Yeah, the event happened. He exists. He exists.
Yeah.
He exists. Shots fired. And that's just one source. We got many more. Come on, Hebrew.
Say, and a most mischievous superstition, thus checked for the moment, again broke out, not only in Judea, the first source of the evil.
The first source of what? Of the
evil.
Boy, of the evil. He said after this Christ was crucified, a mischievous superstition broke out. After you give up your ghost, what superstition is going to break out about you?
Somebody going to say you came back from the dead.
Must have been resurrection talk going on back in ancient Jerusalem. And those who say it started in Judea, the first source of the evil. See, these Romans called us abominations. What we did is evil. Said we were hated. So these ain't people that's like it don't add to their cause to talk bad about their enemies. It don't add to their cause. or to even lie about this event right here. You don't add to their cause. Either way. You understand? Come on, Hebrew, let's get it. A superstition broke out after he died, huh? We got all through these scriptures where what you would call a superstition, you understand? We know is resurrection. And this is even in the records. And they said it started in Judea, the first source of what he calls evil. Evil. Go ahead, Hebrew.
They say at the first source of evil, but even in Rome, where all things hideous and shameful from the point of the world find their center, I guess, center and become popular.
And because so, just like America is today, Rome was the melting pot. You could pour into there and do whatever you want to do for the most part. I mean, they had Roman law and certain things you had to abide by. But like America's a melting pot, a mixture of diverse nations, ethnicities, and all this. Same was Rome. Those that started this superstition about him started out in Judea and then ended up in Rome, where everything finds its center. All right, go ahead, Doc.
Accordingly, an arrest was first made of all who pleaded guilty.
See, so now locking up all the believers, and that time is coming back. They're gonna be locking us up shortly. There we go. You're gonna have to get these brews off these streets. You know what I'm saying? Off these radio. I know y'all tripping that ain't another cyber attack and all that. Like, man, what y'all think? It's just a precursor to what's coming. It can't go on. The big hoorah can't go on forever. Eventually, they're gonna have to come shut everything down. All right. It's too influential. You understand? In a minute, then we getting all the influential, the powerful brews. They're gonna be getting them off the streets. Can't have none of that revolutionary talk while we trying to control the masses. You dig? So we expect it. We expect it, man. We on, you know what I'm saying? We on borrowed time anyway. We don't fear what man can do to us. But the hit coming down, just like it did in Rome. The hit coming. You understand? What else to say, Hebrews? They was arresting the believers and interrogating them, right? And torturing them. Right? Same thing is coming back for you. If you believe in this Bible, you already a terrorist according to FEMA. Already. All right, go ahead, Doc.
Then, upon their information, an immense multitude was convicted.
It's do say immense or immense?
Immense.
Yeah,
that's what that is.
Yeah.
An immense multitude was convicted. Not so much of the crime of firing the city as of hatred against mankind. Mockery of every sort was added to their death.
See, if y'all know anything about Nero Caesar, this sadistic, diabolical heathen. This heathen burns down Rome and blame it on the brews that followed the Messiah. Government been doing that, doing false flags and blaming it on a group of people that they don't like. Just like with the towers here in America. Same thing. Nero did that against the brews in ancient Rome that followed the Messiah. He burned the city down and blamed it on us.
We can go in for the kids.
Yep. And even before that, he was spreading false propaganda. All these are stages of war, man. Before the bloodshed happens, you feel me? You got to be false propaganda being put out there. Intel got to get collected. You understand? Interrogations, all type of stuff before the actual blood get to flowing. That's part of it. All right? Come on, Hebrew. What it say?
It say covered with the skins of beasts.
You see what these devils was doing to us, boy? Covered with the skins of beasts. Go ahead.
They were torn by dogs.
Sound like civil rights. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, and them. One of them heathen sicking dogs on us. Or what them German shepherds, them nigger catchers.
Yeah.
Sicking dogs on you. Torn by dogs. Covered with the skins of beasts. And then the word perishes there, meaning death.
Yeah.
All right, what else to say?
Or were nailed to crosses.
Oh, so Messiah wasn't the only one nailed to the cross. You understand? Or the execution stake. Everybody they caught that was his follower got handled too. That's how Rome did their capital punishment back then. You understand? Because what we teach is unlawful for a Roman to observe. The gospel was anti-Roman and anti-American. I know that make a lot of folk nervous. But according to the records that we read and according to the very Bible that we read, that's the truth. That's the truth. You feel me? You ain't a patriotic, American-loving Negro and claim you got the Spirit of God on you. That's impossible.
Yeah.
That's impossible. You can't be no patriotic, land of the free, home of the brave Negro and claim you got the Spirit of God on you. Impossible. Because if you were spitting the real truth, you understand, it'll cause a riot damn near everywhere you go.
Right.
Or get you talked about. You know what I'm saying? It'd be all type of hell popping off in your life, but you got to endure. All right, go ahead.
You say, or were doomed to the flames.
Oh,
and
burned. Ooh.
To serve as a nightly humiliation.
Illumination. You know, at night,
illuminate, like
you
lit
know,
you up.
Or like street lights.
Yeah.
You feel me? They'll burn your corpse and use your corpse as a street light. So they can have light out here at night.
That's what they say, when daylight had expired.
Yeah. You see that? So this is the Annals of Imperial Rome by Cornelius Tacitus. Go ahead.
Just pay attention to the light. The light. You know how the light is? It's ridiculous how they must go up and just curve and there, just almost like you do your hangman. You know your hangman thing? That's how your light thing is. It's up with the little hangman curve right there. I wonder if that has something to do with that. It's kind of ridiculous how it's like that. But we used to be the light. We used to be the night light, the night street light.
The street lights.
At nighttime.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. They hang you, they burn your body. You feel me? Your body is used, your burning corpse is used for a street light. Feed you the dogs, burn the city down, blame it on you. It's the ones that follow Messiah. It's one that follow Christ right there.
Now look, all this tortures for people who believe in superstition.
Yeah.
You gotta figure like what type of a crime was there for you to send these type of tortures to a group of people who believe in such a way.
Real talk. And it must be the truth. You got people who say, look, I'll take that death. That's what's up. Feel me? Instead of reneging on what it is they believe in. Like, I'll take that. So it show you that fear was off the table. Same type thing going on. Let's do John chapter 1. I just want to go show what Christ is. Christ means Messiah. Again, that was the Annals of Imperial Rome by Cornelius Tacitus. ISBN number, ISBN 1-4209-2668-3. ISBN number 1-4209-2668-3. Annals of Imperial Rome by Cornelius Tacitus. Page 216, page 217. And it said, Christ suffered an extreme penalty during the reign of Tiberius Caesar at the hand of Pontius Pilate. So when we get to the scripture and read about the trial of Messiah, is it a coincidence that Pontius Pilate is right there? Somebody lying. Somebody lying.
Yeah. Almost sounds like good math there though. You wanna add some situations up.
And again, it's not like the Romans are pumping a pro-Israelite agenda. Based off what we read, we were a class of people hated. They call what we did abominable. And all that, man. Fed us the dogs, nailed us to crosses, and used our burning corpses as street lights, covered with the skins of beasts. So their agenda ain't to promote the Israelites. It's simply to document that they were persecuting those that followed the Christ who was crucified under Pontius Pilate. This even said a superstition broke out after he died. Well, he would call it a superstition because he's a non-believer. Non-believer would call it a superstition. No doubt. We're going to call it the resurrection. And the records are wrong? Before the Council of Nicaea. You got to be kidding me about this.
Roman senator.
I read John 1, 41, I believe it is, my brother.
John 1, verse 41.
Yes, sir.
He first findeth his own brother Simon, and said unto him, we have found the Messiah, which is being interpreted the Christ.
So we found a Messiah. If you want to interpret it, it means Christ. It just means anointed. When you look it up. Some people that don't want to say that, I mean, I understand where you at with it. You understand? But You can't knock the brothers that do use it, because in the Bible we read and it says Messiah means Christ, or Hamashiach, if you want to speak some Hebrew. Hamashiach means Christ. It just means anointed. You understand? Go to John 4 for me. John 4, 20, like 25, 26, something like that.
John chapter 4.
Second witness. This is about him, about the Samaritan woman at the well. They talked to a woman at the well.
Yeah, verse 25.
Yeah.
It said, the woman said unto him, I know it. I know that Messiah coming, which is called Christ. When he is come, he will tell us all things.
Hold on. They say what? Read that again.
It said, the woman said unto him, I know that Messiah coming, which is called Christ.
And we know the Messiah is coming, which is called Christ. Over in John 1:41 and John 4:25, that Messiah is interpreted to mean Christ. Right? It don't mean Crisco oil, like some of y'all claim. You understand? It simply means Messiah. Somebody get mad at saying Christ, say Messiah. They don't like Messiah, say Hamashiach. You dig? And don't let us get the spelling Hebrew up here and ask you to read it. Majority of y'all that bang on language can't even read, write, or speak the language. Right. So stop playing around, man. All right. So look, let's go to John 18. Let's read about the trial of the Messiah. Let's see if Pontius Pilate is in there. And Pontius Pilate is historical. They got what's called the Pilate Stone. In the museums, I believe, in Britain, I think they is. They got what's called the Pilate Stone. Showing you that Pontius Pilate ruled in Jerusalem at a certain time. Well, in their records, they got to let it be known that there was somebody crucified under him who had a massive following. You understand? They were nailed to crosses as well. Or an execution statement. That's too much for y'all. Point being, nailed to some wood. A cross is made out of a tree. It's made out of wood. I mean, what do you want? All right, John 18, so around verse 28. Let's get into it.
John 18.
Yep.
Verse 28 said, then led they Yahushua from Caiaphas unto the hall of judgment, and it was early. And they themselves went not into the judgment hall, lest they should be defiled, but that they might eat the Passover.
Ain't that something? So this is doing the preparation with a lamb and all that must be killed. How ironic, they about to slaughter the lamb of the Most High. They said, we don't want to be defiled. Look at you hypocritical Negroes. You've already sold them out. Right. We don't want to be defiled. We want to be around for the first day of unleavened bread. So, you know, come on, man. Let's read it, bro.
It said, verse 29, Pilate then went out unto them and said, what accusation bring ye against this man?
Is that Pilate?
It's Pilate.
Same Pilate we read about in here. Same Pilate that we read out the records of Imperial Rome. Huh? Let's read, bro.
What did he call Pilate in there? Is it how who?
A procurator.
Procurator.
Brother had some authority.
Then answered and said unto him, if he were not a malefactor,
or a troublemaker. See, these non-messianics just handed over Messiah to the white man. You non-messianics love the white man. Y'all love him. Y'all tell y'all because y'all report about us to them. And notice the non-messianic right here. What he say? If he wasn't no troublemaker, we wouldn't have delivered him to you.
That's what he said.
The Romans were in authority, but it had to be the bootlickers. You feel me? House Negroes that sold the Messiah out. That handed him over.
Pilate had to ask the question, what accusation do you have against this man?
Yeah.
They didn't even know the situation that was going on.
He didn't even know what it was at first. They said if he wasn't a troublemaker, we wouldn't have delivered him to you. Sold out by one of his close homeboys, Judas, for some slave wages, man. Go ahead, Hebrew.
Verse 31. Then said Pilate unto them, take ye him and judge him according to your law. The Jews therefore said unto him, it is not lawful for us to put any man to death.
How y'all talking about death? How's death on the table? You're talking about a man that healed everybody and fed thousands and taught the Torah of the Most High. You feel me? Just unlocked it because he had the spiritual power. There wasn't none of y'all doing. And you about to put this man to death? Come on, Hebrew.
That the saying of Yahushua might be fulfilled, which he spake, signifying what death he should die.
So he already knew it. It was prophesied to happen. But woe unto him by whom it happened. Yeah, you done sold out the Son of the Most High for nothing. Right? Because you lusting for power. That's evil, man. That's straight evil. Dig? Let's read, Hebrew.
Then Pilate entered into the judgment hall again, and called Yahushua, and said unto him, Art thou the King of the Jews? Question mark.
Right.
Yahushua answered him, Sayest thou this thing of thyself, or did others tell it? Or did others tell it thee of me?
He like, you asking because you want to know, you ask me because that's what you heard. Huh? You don't sound like the Messiah punking out at trial, knowing death is on the table. You asking me because you want to know, is it because somebody told you that about me? Wait, that set the stage right there, boy. You know what I'm saying? Now the way he like, no, sir. Now some of you Negroes go to court, and all of a sudden you got a moral bone in your body. You want to call a judge, sir. Like that's gonna lessen your sentence. Yes, sir. Yes, Your Honor. Yeah, you got your tie on and yeah, got your little blazer. Yeah. You understand? You thinking that just speaking in a certain tone to him is gonna lessen your sentence. But she act like, look, you asking me because you want to know, or you ask me because that's what you heard about me. Wait, come on, Hebrew.
Pilate answered, Am I a Jew?
No, he's a Roman. Go ahead.
Thy own nation and chief priests have delivered thee unto me. What hast thou done?
What you done did your own nation? You see that? These Negroes are sellouts, like bootlickers, man. These non-messianics would straight turn us into the government. It's the same spirits as out here. I don't know why people think it's different, and then you got everybody want to hold hands and get along. That ain't finna happen. That ain't finna happen. Because at the first sign of trouble, they be like, there they go, right over there. There they go, right over there. Most happy with us all, bro.
Congratulations.
Yeah, boy, congrats on that new seed, boy. Young Prince. Young Prince. Young Seth in the building.
Yeah.
Most happy with you and yours, brother. Shalom. Yakanan Eliezer just had a young Prince, young Seth. All praise, glory, and honor. All right, come on, Hebrew, let's get it.
Hey, check it out. He say, Pilate answered, Am I a Jew? Then he say, Thine own nation and chief priests have delivered thee unto me. But check out how he say, Am I a Jew? And then say, Thine own nation. The nation is coming with nationality comes with that nation. You know what I'm saying? So there's a dagger for those that want to know for sure that the Jew is a nation or a nationality. It says, Am I a Jew or your own nation? These are your people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He's not the same people as us. So Pilate wasn't the same nation, nationality, or people
as the
Israelites.
No, not at all. And notice it was the Israelites that sold out the Israelites, man.
No.
You know what I'm saying? And it's still the same thing today. You can expect that. You feel me? So all the different camps and thoughts and whatever you want to talk about, man. When it go down and that pressure get turned up and it's a little inconvenience for you, oh no, I can't do what? Yeah, we looking for him. He right over there. There you go, right over there. He be right up there on Friday nights. You can catch him here. Right there. You dig? So we expect it. Because it is what it is. Go ahead, Doc.
It says, Yahushua answered, My kingdom is not of this world.
Beautiful.
If my kingdom were of this world, then would my servants fight.
Then what he said, if this was my kingdom, my servants would be banging. It'd have been a civil war between the non-messianics and messianics 2,000 years ago, if that was the kingdom of the Most High God. If he about to usher it in right then and there, it'd have been bloodshed. It'd have been a civil war between the believers and non-believers.
No.
Right on the spot. And we told him if this was my kingdom, my servants would be banging around her. This ain't my kingdom. All right, go ahead, Hebrew.
that I should not be delivered to the Jews.
Yeah. So when it says he came to his own and his own received him not, it's talking about his own or the non-believing Israelites. It was many Israelites that believed in the Messiah, man, including the first disciples. You understand? They was Hebrews by blood, so that everything is about in-house beef between either you believe that he's the anointed, the sent by the Most High, the anointed, or you don't believe. And you believe or don't believe so hard it'll cause y'all to go to war and kill each other. All right, go ahead, Hebrew.
He say, but now is my kingdom not from hence.
Yahoo, come on.
Pilate therefore said unto him, art thou a king then? Yahweh shall answer, thou sayest that I am a king.
You said it. Go ahead.
To this end was I born.
I was born king. I was born. You said it, and I was born king. Go ahead.
And for this cause came I into the world,
Woo,
that I should bear witness unto the truth.
woo.
Everyone that is of the truth heareth my voice.
That's powerful. Now, this is that dialogue he having with Pilate before he get put to death. The same Pilate that's in these records right here to testify that he was crucified under. You see that? Do you see the conversation he having with him? You said I was a king. I was born king. And I was brought into this world that I should bear witness to the truth. Everyone is of the truth heard my voice. Oh, wait, let's keep reading. It gets interesting.
He said, Pilate said unto him, what is truth? And when he had said this, he went out again unto the Jews and said unto them, I find in him no fault at all, but ye have a custom that I should release unto you one at the Passover. Will ye therefore that I release unto you the King of the Jews? Then cried they all again, saying, not this man, but Barabbas. Now Barabbas was a robber.
Barabbas was a jack boy. So you refuse the son of the Most High for somebody that was, he was a stick-up kid. He was robbing everything. You gonna choose him over the Messiah, man? It's another point here where they say Caesar is our king. I'm like, boy, you non-messianics are sellouts. Sellouts. We have no king but Caesar. All right, where you at, Al?
That's it for the 18.
That's all 18?
Yeah.
All right, next one we're going to get into, again, we're going over historical proof of the Messiah evidence. We did that, The Annals of Imperial Rome by Cornelius Tacitus, refuting or debunking the claim that the Messiah was invented in 325 AD at the Council of Nicaea, because this record goes from 14 AD to 66 AD, roughly 52 years of Imperial Rome, before Emperor Constantine or Council of Nicaea was even thought about. 300 years before it. 300 years. That's like the difference between us and the 1700s. A lot of change since the 1700s, ain't it? Of course. The next one we're going to go into is right here. It's put out by Oxford. It's called Pliny the Younger. Pliny the Younger, the complete letters. All right, y'all can look all this stuff up, man. I think this book was like $8 on Amazon. It don't even cost a lot to, you feel me, get some ammo. Ammunition don't cost much, man. Get you some ammo, you dig? Fire off on these non-believers. I bet you they'll never be able to say again there wasn't no historical documents. You know what they're gonna say from here on out? Well, I don't believe that. Yeah, it all come back down to a belief when you done talking. Now we right back at faith. What you believe and don't believe. We right back there. All right. So this right here is again Pliny the Younger. I'm gonna have Ak Ruben read the back of it. All right, Pliny the Younger, complete letters. A new translation by P.G. Walsh. Oxford World's Classics. Oxford University is a world-renowned university to this very day. That in Cambridge. All right. What does it say on the back?
It says, in these letters to his friends and relations, Pliny. Okay, all right. Pliny provides a fascinating insight Pliny provides a fascinating insight into Roman life in the period 97 to 112 AD.
Wow, we still 200 years before the Council of Nicaea. Y'all realize this, right? I was just saying he provides into the fascinating, like, so he about to go into some detail about what's going on in the Roman Empire before Christianity was even formed. Christ is real, Christianity is false. The religion. Messiah Yahushua is real. You feel me? The religion of Christian sanity is false. The Catholics are false. We're not Catholics. You understand? We down with the scripture from cover to cover. What else? So we got a year, like we got the years 14 to 66 in here, right? This says from 97 AD to 112 AD. So we looking at what, about 15-year period? And he's writing about what's going on in the Roman Empire. Go ahead, Doc. What else to say?
It says part autobiography, part social history. They document the career and interest of a senator.
Another senator. Go ahead.
And leading imperial official whose friends include the historian Tacitus.
Hold on. Oh, so he was contemporaries with this guy. Oh, wait. The evidence is mounting. The evidence is mounting. Go ahead, Hebrew.
And Suetonius. Pliny's letters cover a wide range of topics, from the contemporary political scene of domestic affairs and educational system, the rituals and conduct of Roman religion.
Oh, he did really. Okay, come on.
And the treatment of slaves.
Oh, man, not the good old slaves. Oh, wait. Working hard like a Hebrew slave, huh? I always say it. We don't never really put nothing to it. What else to say, brother?
And the phenomena of nature. He describes in valid detail the eruption of what is it? Vesuvius? What is it?
Vesuvius.
Vesuvius.
Yeah, that says what? The eruption of Vesuvius. Yeah, that was the Vesuvius mountains that erupted.
Vesuvius.
Yeah, add that to your mentors. Yeah, Vesuvius. Yeah. They named Saturnus, and his name was Gaius Tranquillus Saturnus. And he wrote the 12 Caesars. That's another book that we got. You dig? I ain't got it with me today, but that's another book we got detailing Acts 18 about how the Hebrews was kicked out of Rome. Oh wait, somebody's lying. Come on, Hebrew.
Which killed his uncle, and the daily routines of a well-to-do Roman in the courts and at leisure, enjoying rural pursuits at his country estates. That's it. In the introduction to his lively and sympathetic new translation, P.G. Walsh examines the background to these often intimidate and enthralling letters.
Hey, shout out to brother Jacob. He on the line. He said Mount Vesuvius burnt those Roman asses up. Yeah, you ain't lying, Jake. Boy, that Mount Vesuvius, but you know what I'm saying? Something else historical that happened that you can look up, right? So if the Messiah was invented in 325 AD, then we shouldn't be able to look in here. Look, and he lived from 61 AD to 112. He's only talking about the years 97 AD to 112. All right. So if a Messiah didn't exist 200 years later, there should be nothing about him or any of his followers in her. This ain't got nothing to do with 325 when Christianity was invented. You non-messianics, boy, the case is stacking against you, man. You better tap out now while you got breath. Right? Because all that hating you got for him, you're going to have eternity to tell him to his face. Oh, we. And who can withstand everlasting burners? Like my big brother Jake always say. Who can withstand everlasting burners? You ain't ready for that, man. If you a brew, you a Hebrew, but ain't accepted the Messiah, you understand? You should be spilling your coffee right now because you know good and well your fancy decorated decrepit fancy decorated elder done told all y'all that there is no historical proof he existed. So we went and got the proof. All right, read some of that. Read the highlighted part. What page you on? Pages.
I'm on page 278.
So 278 and 279 and Pliny the Younger. Y'all look that book up. It's probably about $8. But better hurry up because once they start getting ordered and word get out, boy, they be about $500 on it. They don't want you yet. They don't want the Negroes finding out about the Messiah for real. It'll be a spiritual revolution overnight. Now, let's get her done.
All right. It says on page 278, it says an anonymous document was published containing the names of many.
Hold on. Put this up again. Brew want to know. Brew want to know what's the name of this again. Pliny the Younger. Abimelech, my brother out of New York. Pliny the Younger. Complete letters. You typed it in on Amazon and it popped right up. All right. The other book was called The Annals of Imperial Rome by Cornelius Tacitus. Both these men lived before a Council of Nicaea was even thought of. All right. Proving the Messiah was not invented in 325 AD when it came with the religion of Catholicism. All right. Read up there. I know who he's talking to. Read that too. Guys Pliny to what we call it.
It say Gaius Pliny to the Emperor
Trajan.
Yeah,
Caesar. So he's writing this. This is how close he was, like how high he was in power. He could write personal letters to the Caesar and holler at him, right? Now trip off his dialogue. Now remember, he died in 112 AD, man. You understand? So that's his exit date is 112 AD. So before all this, he's writing to the Emperor of Rome about who? Let's read, Hebrew.
It says, it is my regular custom, my Lord.
Oh, he called him his master. Go ahead.
To refer to you, to refer to you all questions which cause me doubt. For who can better guide my hesitant steps or instruct my ignorance? I have never attended hearings concerning Christians.
I've never attended hearings. There was like, if you followed the Messiah in ancient Rome, boy, you at any moment you could be locked up, shut down. He said, I've never attended hearings concerning Christians. Remember, the disciples were first called Christian at Antioch. Right? The disciples was Israelites. These men being Jews doth exceedingly trouble our city. These who have turned the world upside down have come here too. Right? So we talking about when you read Christian, you're talking about the Israelites who followed the Messiah. Right? The Rome wasn't just persecuting Israelites. It was the Israelites who believed in the gospel. Shut them down. So Pliny, like, look, I've never attended hearings concerning Christians, those that follow the Christ, right? Go ahead, Hebrew.
So I am unaware what is usually punished or investigated.
Dang.
And to what extent.
Dang, what you mean punished? I thought it's just a innocent belief. What do you mean punished? And to what extent? What else to say, brother?
You say, I am more than a little in doubt whether there is to be a distinction between ages and to what extent the younger should be treated no differently from the more hardened.
He like, look, charge the youngins as adults. He said, man, is there a difference in how we apply judgment to this situation? Is there a difference between the elders and the youngers and the youngins in this? What do you say, Emperor Trajan? What else you got, bro? Reading all the highlighted parts.
Okay, all right. Yeah, because that story, I just
about to go in.
Yeah, definitely
about to go in even more. I admonish y'all to get that book. All right, go ahead, Hebrew.
That's strictly directed toward those who are called Christian. That's what I want to get to. Though.
All right, go read. Let's put it this way. Read whatever you want up in there. Like if you see something else that need to get hit, go ahead. Go ahead and hit.
I'll just read this report. It says, it was treated more no differently from the more hardened. Whether pardon should be granted to repentance, whether the person who has been a Christian in some sense should not benefit by having renounced it.
See, so they interrogating you and investigating you to see if they can get you to renounce your faith. Huh? Death is on the table. Death is on the table. All right, go ahead, Hebrew.
They say whether it is the name Christian itself, untainted with crimes, or the crimes which cling to the name, which should be punished. That's all I'm gonna read right. I'm going to the next highlighted part. It says an anonymous document was published containing the names of many, those who denied that they were or had been Christian, and call upon the gods after me, and with incense and wine made obeisance,
reverence, service. Go ahead.
To your statue.
To the who statue? Trajan statue. Remember, Caesar was a god to them. So those that start denying they faith, no, I ain't got nothing to do with that. Ain't no shalom. I don't deal with them brews. No. Hell no. I ain't signed up for all that. He made them renounce it, renounce their belief, and then they burned incense to the statue of Trajan. They poured out drink offerings. All that, man. Because death on the table. What you gonna do in that day? What you gonna do? All right, go ahead, Hebrew.
He said, which I have ordered to be brought in together with images of the gods for this very purpose.
Wow, there go your graven images. Huh? Your statues brought in and images of our false gods and deities are brought in. And we make those who deny being so-called followers of him, we make them pay homage and reverence to our gods. That's the only way they can get let go. Go ahead, Doc.
It said, and who moreover curse Christ. Those who are truly Christians cannot.
See, those who are really down and follow the Messiah, you can't deny the truth. You feel me? So this right here is seeing, okay, let's see who really down. Because if they really down, they can't deny him, and we gonna kill them. If not, we about to make them renounce their Lord. They renounce their faith. You feel me? Right here in front of us, and do a ritual to our gods. See, this is psychological. They know what it is. They know what we believe. You understand? But if fear is on the table, the fear of death, you feel me? And you ain't in your mind like, look, I'm going to the grave before I turn my back on the truth. If that ain't your mindset, you're gonna be one of these ones doing rituals of false gods and turning your back on the anointed Son of the Heavenly Father. You gotta be ready to rock and roll with this thing, man. You gotta be ready any second. You feel me? You could be exiting stage left. At any second, the Most High could be cashing your chips in. Don't flunk your final test.
Right up.
Don't flunk. Go ahead, Doc.
It is said, be forced to do any of these things, I order to be acquitted. That's the end of that. With this, I'm gonna start another highlighted area. It says,
now realize there wouldn't be no such thing as these followers of Christ had not Christ existed.
Right.
There should be no followers of him if he wasn't invented 200 years later. That's the point.
Shouldn't even be talking about.
How are you talking about his followers if he didn't exist?
You waiting on 325 AD for him to get invented.
Yeah. You waiting for 200 more years in the future. The difference between us and the 1800s. Right? 1818, Negroes were still in slavery. Like shadow bondage. You understand? Long time. Go ahead, Hebrew.
All these as well worship your statues and images of the gods and blaspheme Christ.
And see that? And blaspheme. Talked all madness about the Messiah. Pulled a Judas. Go ahead, Doc.
They maintain, however, that their guilt or error involved was that they were accustomed to assemble at dawn.
Grab that door too.
On a fixed day.
On
Wait
what
a
day?
minute. On a fixed
On
day.
a fixed day.
At dawn.
Mm.
They had a certain time and a certain day. Wait a minute, let me go back and read that. It says they maintain, however, that all that their guilt or error involved was that they were accustomed to assemble at dawn on a fixed day to sing a hymn. What is it? No.
Yeah, like some music.
Brother,
How you pronounce that? Ariel.
Well, you know, let me see if I can see that.
Ariel Alb in Israel. Jake, that wasn't the police, man. Jake, like, watch out for the police. That's Ariel Alb in Israel, man. How you say that word? This is the linguistic guru. Yeah, you can't say it.
Brother with the linguistics.
Pronounce it. Anti-finally, some type of musical term.
Yeah, it is. To sing a hymn anti-finally to Christ as God. And to bind themselves by an oath, not for the commission of some crime, but to avoid acts of theft.
See what the believers of the Messiah, you feel me? They held themselves to a code, to a law. You know what I'm saying? We ain't stealing nothing. Go ahead.
I got another one I'm stuck with. What's this? Bridge.
Yeah. Brigandage. Yeah, brigandage.
I brought them for just such an occurrence.
Go ahead, bro.
Brigandage and adultery.
See, they keep the true followers of the Messiah keep law. They keep commandments.
Yeah, brigandage.
And what's that other word?
It's antiphonally. Yeah, antiphonally.
Antiphonally. Yeah, boy.
Antiphonally.
King's English.
Yeah, antiphonally and brigandage.
Yeah.
And adultery. Not to break their word and not to withhold money deposit.
See that?
Deposited with them.
Yeah, so it's like, you know what I'm saying? The money that was collected was used for whatever that needed to come up. We all rolling together. You know what I'm saying? That ain't even our mindset today. Our mindset is something totally different. I got mine, you better get yours, right?
No.
Go ahead, you go.
When these rites were completed, it was their custom to depart and then to assemble again to take food, which was, however, common and harmless. They had seeds. They had seeds. They said to do. That was it for that.
That's it for that?
No, there's another little piece. I'm gonna jump down. It says, so I thought it all the more necessary to ascertain the truth. Ascertain the truth.
Ascertain.
Is that what it is? Ascertain.
Yeah, ascertain, yeah.
Okay. So I thought it all to the more necessary to ascertain the truth from two maidservants who were called
deaconesses. Go ahead.
Deaconesses.
Yeah.
Even by employing torture.
So it show you the sisters that believe ain't exempt either. As he even said, I'm gonna go ahead and torture them and see what kind of information I can get about them.
I found nothing other than a debased and boundless superstition.
That's what that word superstition is. Because we believed in the resurrection, a non-believer would call it superstition. But notice he talking about in here, his letter to Trajan was, what do I do about these sects of people that call themselves Christian? What do I do about them? Right? This is before 325 AD, man. 200 years before. So if he wasn't invented until then, his followers should be nowhere around. You see? Easy work. Easy work. It ain't really hard once you get into it. I got another one right here called Celsus on the true doctrine. A discourse against the what is he that came up with a whole book? And it still ain't 325 AD yet. That's a problem. It still ain't 325 AD. All right. Now you can read some of this back part. But I got all these little spots in here I just wanted to go show. You know what I'm saying? All these little spots you'll see, I got the little sticky papers. Accusing them of sorcery and all that. But in doing that, you admit he had spiritual power. Dig? 28, bang, bang. This is ugly. It's all over the place. Now, this book right here, Discourse Against Celsus on the True Doctrine of Discourse Against the Christians, right? It says on the back, although the works of many early critics of the church were burned by Christian emperors or were otherwise destroyed in the 2nd and 3rd centuries, the major work of the Greek philosopher Celsus is an exception. His polemical attack on the beliefs and practices, it says, of Christianity on the true doctrine, written around 178 AD, which still ain't 325 AD, in which y'all claim the religion and the Messiah was invented. You feel me? We at least we had a document that was 300 years before, 200 years before. And this 178, 100 on that is 278. You talking about like what, 100 and what? Shit, 50 years? 150 years before the Council of Nicaea, somebody done wrote a whole book on these people that followed the Christ who was crucified under Pontius Pilate. Oh wait, somebody lying. All right, let me go right here. I'm gonna go to page is this. This is page 28. Page 28. I want to go to the part where they trying to. These are either something else, magical practices. Read these right here. This is page. Dang, man, there's so many of them, man. I kind of want to get into all of them, but you said hit them all, huh? Too. So hit all of them. So right here on page 32, and then flip forward, you see some more. See all the little green papers and all that. Bang, that's another one. You know what I'm saying? That's page 34.
All right, we diving in, y'all. We diving in.
Somebody lying. Somebody's lying. You got your script on yeah, let's do John 21 and 25 before we hit that. John 21 and 25. John 21 and 25.
Reading in the book of John, chapter 21, verse 25. And there are also many other things which Yeshua did. One, which if they should be written everyone, I suppose that even the world itself could not contain the books that should be written.
You see that?
Amen. You
hear that? He said it was many things the Messiah did that the world wouldn't be able to contain the books if all of them was written. You know what I'm saying? So this is just light work. We got, you feel me? It's like, look, if everything was written down, everybody want to know my day-to-day detail. What he do when he was 11 and a half? What was he doing? Was he skipping rocks? Was he counting marbles? Well, Negro, you don't know what your great-granddaddy was doing at 11. They don't discount that he lived. Like, what are you talking about? You don't know what Moses was doing at 11. Don't none of y'all try to discount Moses. What was Moses doing at 11? You see what I'm saying? It'd be stupid stuff like, well, we don't know what he was doing. The infancy story, what was he doing? What was Habakkuk doing when he was 15? Yeah, your arguments for not wanting to listen and bear witness to what the Messiah is talking about, man, is baseless. It don't got no foundation. Because we're asked the same questions about Moses. You wouldn't even be able to tell us.
No doubt. You got to understand the Bible has to say basic instructions before leaving earth. Like these just basic instructions. You know, the world couldn't contain all the things that went on in the scripture. You know what I'm saying? But it's broken up in different books with different things, a little bit more detail that you don't really get out of it. Well, actually, not these 66, even though there's more scripture there. But is very much more detailed. You got to go book for book, story for story, but you are looking at the same account explained in more detailed ways. You know what I'm saying? That you just can't put all in one book.
It's just a summary.
No doubt.
That's a summary. Was you done with that?
That's one verse.
Go ahead. Do John 20 and 30. Like one chapter. John 20, 29 and 30. And we're getting this Celsius too. You feel me? Because it said there's no nobody historical talked about it. So you shouldn't believe him. You shouldn't believe in him if no historian talked about it. And I be hearing these old Negroes in New York, this non-messianics, and then they congregation be seal clapping. Ooh, 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 like you made a point. You be like, man, shut up. You ain't made not damn point. Now we gonna play that. We can go do that with all the prophets. Then let's see who wrote about who. But come to find out, man, there's more stuff written about this Messiah than it is for most Caesars. There's more stuff written about the Messiah than it is for Moses. And you got to know to say he ain't real, but you ain't got the same ammo for Moses. Playing Russian roulette with your soul, man. Yeah, John 20, please.
Reading in the book of John, chapter 20, starting at verse 29. Yeshua saith unto him, Thomas, because thou hast seen me, thou hast believed. Blessed are they that have not seen and yet have believed.
See, that's like us, man. Everything is about a belief. No matter what you involved in, you got to believe it to become it. You're a mechanic. You got to believe you're a pretty good mechanic. You're a barber. You got to believe you're a good barber. My sister Malay over there, she gets down on that herd. It's like at the back of her hand. You want to what? Get done? What? Girl, come on, sit on down. Let's get it done. Watch that hurt. Oh, no, you need this, this, and that right there. I'm going to show you what to do. Get up under that dryer. She believes what she does, and she can just get it done. You feel me? Down to what you're good at in life, you got to believe it. Down to your God, it's going to come down to a belief. Even the atheist got a belief. Y'all know that, right? They just don't believe in our God, but he believes in something.
Yeah.
Everything has to do with a belief, a thought process. And then you reflect that in what you speak and what you manifest. All right, go ahead.
Verse 30.
Yeah.
And many other signs truly did Yeshua in the presence of his disciples, which are not written in this book. But these are written that ye might believe that Yeshua is the Hamashiach, the Son of Yah, and that believing ye might have life through his name.
That's powerful.
Ooh, that's beautiful.
That's powerful. There we John 20, 29, and 30.
And 131,
29 to 31, and John 21 and 25. Woo. Now, many things that are written. I got this Josephus. You ain't got your books with you.
No,
you got it. Let's go. I'll pull it up on her.
I just couldn't take it. I was sitting there looking at y'all. I was like, man, that's 6 minutes from the past. I'm rolling. I'm here. Yeah.
That what's up, bro. You know.
But don't blame me. I will roll back.
No. We got it. I can pull it up right here.
Yeah.
I can pull up right Josephus account on, and then y'all get on Google, right? And type in Josephus testimony of Jesus.
I think I do have books. You know I'm not down with all this. I think I do have some books on here. Wait a minute.
All right, so look, let's read some of this right here.
Where you going to?
We going to the Celsius. Right after Celsius. But the testimony of Josephus is the testimony of Christ, the Messiah. And a lot of people, and then you know, well, it's gonna be somebody put that in there. It's all right. Look, the Negro that's a non-believer, no matter what you show him, you feel me? Unless he believes, unless that stronghold has been taken down, that belief, it don't matter what you show him. He gonna believe what he want to believe. You feel me? We just had a bro not that long ago. We just had him boxed in a couple of days ago, and he was getting slapped all upside his head with these scriptures. But he don't believe. Like he got in his mind that he would never accept certain things. You understand? And he was getting handled. Like everything he went to, he was bruised, pulling scriptures, bing, bing, bing. And to the point it don't matter. Because in his mind, he don't believe. Dig? All right, what's up with it, Hebrew? What we got? What we got? Where you at?
This is where we at. This is where we at. You go on page 28, and there's Celsius on the true doctrine. About to go in on y'all, page 28. It says, in the 2nd century, Christian missionaries were yet in the habit of preaching the Christ of Paul.
Hey, so trip off this right here. That's at the 2nd century, so that's from 100 AD to 200 AD. The first century is from 0 to 100. So now we're from 101, or from 0 to 99. Now we're from 100 to 199. That's the 2nd century. We're still before the Council of Nicaea. Still before that, right? So that shows you Paul even existed too. They're trying to say he was made up. Paul even existed because none of this should be around before 325 AD. Now, Dylan, even in the Corinthians, Paul tell you, don't have many fathers. You may have many instructors, but only have one father. Because follow me, because I follow the Messiah. So even in the belief that he is the Messiah, you still got false teachings. You understand? You got false teaching. You got Paul, but then you had Marcion in them out there that was watering down everything and scripture shaping, taking scriptures that are quoted in the New Testament, you feel me, from the Old Testament and taking them completely about what's called the New Testament. Marcion was doing his own Bible. He was called the scripture shaper. We don't follow Marcion. There's a Negro that fell out the ranks, thought we was talking about Marcion. No, you feel me? No. Yeah, you remember that night? No. Nimshank Google bin Israel.
Nimrod.
Boy, Nimrod, you still circling the drain, buddy.
Yeah. Ain't got sense enough to go down.
You feel me? Yeah. Ain't slid down the drain yet. Ain't made a video in 5 years. I just looked you up the other day. I said, boy, when the Most High say he will put your light out, boy, he will take that oil and put your light out. And we witnessed that brother go through that, all because he read the title of an article and didn't even read the whole article. Right. He read the title of an article. Yeah. I told you niggas. Man, I sat there and read that deal and say, this boy is silly. He didn't even read the article he sent me. You feel me? The article is refuting everything you saying. All right, go ahead. It's crazy.
He thought he had his first little bit of proof.
Yeah.
That's how you know one who don't really believe. Because it don't take much for you to go stray away. You know what I'm saying? Just take a little bit. And once you find a little bit, then you flew off, you strayed, and he blamed it on this reason. And look, you didn't even go over your evidence.
Didn't research.
You got paperwork you didn't even go over, and you misread it.
Yeah.
You know, so that was the problem.
He didn't believe anyway. He was looking for the first sign of something that sounded like something I'm out of. Marcion wrote the New Testament. That was the article, I think it was.
Man.
You feel me? And I read it, and it's refuting everything you just said. All the article was saying is because it was false teachers out here, like Peter said it would be, like Paul said it would be, because it was false teachers out here. It caused the brothers who was really rocking with the Messiah to choose what was valid and what wasn't. Everything floating around that's an extra biblical book ain't divine. Everything floating around is not divine. You got the works of some heretics floating around, right? And that was going on back then. All right, go ahead, Hebrew. What else to say?
It says Marcion and APPAREL. The gospel of a man who had once taught in Galilee and Judea.
Talking about Messiah, right? Go ahead.
Who had been unrecognized by his own people during the public ministry.
So we see again, people don't understand that the leaders of his own people, because it was many Israelites that believed in the Messiah. Grab John 11:45 for me. You feel me? Now this guy lived around, well, he died around 178 AD. You understand? So he lived from before then up to 178, somewhere up in there, 178, 185, something like that. Yeah. And just like it's a misunderstanding, it's not like none of the Jews accepted Jesus. You know this, right? You're claiming to be a Jew. You guys didn't accept Jesus. Crazy. You feel me? Sound bites. You're repeating what you heard instead of getting it out the script yourself. What the scriptures say about The many Jews that believed in him.
Man.
And Jew just meaning you from the tribe of Judah. Or the kingdom of Judah. What it say?
Or the 500 that seen him after the resurrection.
Yeah.
Seen over by 500, trying to tell them. How you gonna persuade them that he doesn't exist?
How do you discount the testimony of 500 people?
Man.
Like where they do that at? All they need is 2 or 3 in court today.
Yeah. You got 500.
Make a fact, you got 500.
Oh, okay.
Boy, you got a lot of reports to write out, buddy. Investigator.
You get that many, you guilty.
Yeah.
You don't even need the judge. You got 500 people over here saying you did it. You did it.
You gotta y'all watch on Netflix The Case for Christ. The Case for Christ. You understand? Just look past all the madness. I just know Israelite sister saved their daughter in the restaurant in the beginning. And that's what set her out on this mission of trying to figure out who Christ was. And her husband got mad, but he was an investigative journalist. And this happened in the 70s. It's on the true story. He went hard trying to disprove the gospel. Hard. And everywhere he went, he got shut down. I'm talking about cats with PhDs and all type of aspects of the gospel and the crucifixion. And they straight let him know, like, man, look, what you trying to prove is impossible. Like, how you gonna debunk what's written? You understand? And one cat was a medical. He had a PhD in something concerning in the medical field or something. And he wrote a whole complete work over the crucifixion and how the crucifixion makes sense and how once you being crucified, your heart speed up a certain way and it shoots out blood and water. You understand? Blood and water will shoot out your side or whatever based off the increase of the speed of your heart. And he was like, look, we just found this out 30 years ago, but it's in the gospel from 2,000 years ago. By how water was shooting out Yahweh's side. You know what I'm saying? Being crucified. I'm like, dude, and I'm like, look, we just found this out. Dig? So y'all watched it, the case for Christ. It's on Netflix. The Case for Christ. It'll blow your mind. Feel me? Now, outside of all the little religious overtones, look past all that. You know all that's fake. You understand?
Chew the meat, spit out the
bone. Yeah. But when it come down to proving resurrection, proving crucifixion, proving based off the prophecy he is who he is, they hit that right on the head. Boy, I was over there like, ooh! Y'all, most high, you allowed the right Hebrew to see this, boy. More ammo. More ammunition. Come on now.
It says who had been crucified as an outlaw.
As in who?
As an outlaw.
Then we read in John 18 earlier, they called him a malefactor, a troublemaker. Celsus is saying these so-called Christians preach the gospel of a man who was in Palestine and Galilee, who was rejected by his own people, right? Crucified as an outlaw. Go ahead, he wrote.
Raised from the dead.
Yeah.
And appointed to divine sonship by the supreme God. It says, like the founder. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to jump down some. I just had finished.
All right, hold on. Let him read this about the many Jews that believe in the Messiah. Okay. Because,
book of John.
Yeah, John 11:45.
Okay. Reading in the book of John, chapter 11, starting at verse 45. Then many of the Jews which came to Mary and had seen the things which Yeshua did, believed on him.
Did what?
They believed on him.
So that says right there, many. Many means majority.
Right.
That says many of the Jews. They saw what the miracle the Messiah did. Many of them believed on him. So the notion that none of the Hebrews accepted the Messiah is false. You know who rejected him? Our so-called leaders of our nation. That's who rejected him. But the poor love the Messiah.
And there's those who reject you in this world today. Like we get rejected. You get rejected right now as soon as you get to start talking about these false ways of worship. You know what I'm saying? These paganistic days. You know, you got those of these principalities that follow those things and teach it. So when you coming up against these things that really give men they respect the person, they put money in their pocket, give them the cars and stuff that they drive. Look, brother, I think you targeting them, brother. You stopped myself from riding this Benz. Got this Benz, I'm getting this Benz off these people. And you sit up here telling them the truth? Cutting me out.
For nothing?
Yes, you gotta do something. That key. You gotta get you out of here. And that's basically what they've been doing, though. You can get rid of those that spit the truth for those reasons.
Yeah. What else to say, bro?
Verse 46. But some of them went their ways to the Pharisees and told them what things Yeshua had done.
These non-believers, man. Then you always got somebody snitching. You know what I'm saying? But look, many of the Israelites believed when they saw the power and the miracle. When you seen somebody, you understand, who came and got on your level and taught you about the kingdom of heaven, would have never lied to you, stole from you, never took your woman, never slandered you. You understand? Took a few pieces of fish and bread and fed thousands. You feel me? Showed you the power of his Father manifested right here while he was doing his ministry. You see that? That's powerful right there, man. Many of the Israelites believe. Go one more chapter over for me, John 12.
That all you wanted to
Yeah, that's all I want from that. I just want to show many of the Israelites believed on John 12. I think it's 9 through 11. I believe it is. Yeah. I write these scriptures down because many of the Israelites believed it. The poor love the Messiah, man.
That was needy right there, but I'm gonna go back and read that later just for self-edification.
All praises, bro.
Yeah. Reading in the book of John, chapter 12, verse 9. Much people of the Jews therefore knew that he was there.
Yeah.
And they came not for Yeshua's sake only, but that they might see Lazarus also, whom he had raised from the dead. But the chief priests consulted that they might put Lazarus also to death.
Look at them plotting to put Lazarus back to death, man. Hey, go ahead.
Because that by reason of him, many of the Jews went away and believed on Yeshua.
You see that many, that word many again. Many. Then you also got John 8, 30 to 32, saying the same thing. So when you read in John 1, when it said he came to his own received him not. But as the many as did receive him, to them he gave power to become the sons of God. Right? He's talking about to those that received him out of his nation, man. Because there was many that did.
Right.
Feel me? But the Pharisees and them on his own too. It's just they were the leaders of the nation that didn't want to give up power, man. You see? So you got to precept this thing because people say, oh, that's cute, you're reading the Bible. Now, what are you claiming? You're Israelite? Oh, you're Jewish. No, I'm not Jewish. I'm the tribe of Judah. Right. Of the ancient kingdom of Judah. Oh, well, okay. Well, you were those people back then. Those were your forefathers. That's what you claim, right? Yeah. Well, none of those believed in Jesus. You'd be like, dang. They show you John 1 and 12. He came to his own, believed him not. His own received him not. You feel me? The ones that didn't receive him were the leaders of our nation who didn't want to give up their power, they seat. Because they were sitting in Moses' seat, right? But wait, let's get back to this Celsius. I just wanted to show that. All right. What page you on this Celsius, my brother?
I'm still at page 28.
Let's get it.
At the bottom of the page. It says, like the founder, the Christians were homeless preachers.
Hold on, what?
The Christians were homeless preachers.
Boy, you hear that, brother Jacob Israel, boy? Boy, we was hobos, brother. It said we was homeless preachers, huh? Oh, bro, we got to get that out of scripture, man. Have no certain dwelling place. That's 1 Corinthians 4. 1 Corinthians 4 and 11. I believe that is. Yeah, we're going to have to get that. Oh, wait. They said homeless preacher. Somebody at the door, y'all. They're like the Amazon deliver. Oh, okay, yeah. Amazon Flex. Amazon Flex, baby. Yeah. I'm sure for that. That's what.
Oh yeah, that's what you want.
That one put the truck. That one put that be on the streets. Yeah. Yeah, they got like little 4-hour blocks. They be paying like they pay you about $70 for 3 hours of work or something like that. Yeah, real quick. They give you a block. Yeah, I'm about to put that truck right on the street. But go ahead. I need 1 Corinthians 4. Woo! 1 Corinthians 4, 11 through 13. 1 Corinthians 4, 11 through 13. Oh, praises. They said, boy, we homeless preachers, huh? Boy. In a minute, we going to lose it all. Y'all know that, right? Mark of the Beast coming. I know. I'm with you, too. My sister Tootie over here, boy. Tootie's like ready to go beyond hard.
I'm ready for some stuff.
We got she-brews ready to get it in around this dude. But knows it said because when it hit the fan, you gonna be, you feel me? And shout out to my brothers and sisters that's living off the grid too. as much as possible. I salute that. That's what's up. You understand? I salute that as much as possible. But you still some way on the grid if you listening to us. You still somewhere. You got a Wi-Fi signal. You got some cracking. But for those that's prepping themselves to go without is what I'm saying. To be more self-sustaining and all that, man. Salute. That's what it do. Because when you're done talking, we ain't gonna be able to keep these jobs forever.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We ain't gonna be able to, the market of the beast coming. You Negroes ain't gonna be able to keep your job if you a believer. You understand? That said, they was homeless preachers, but the fact that we moved around how we did, but had a powerful support system. You understand? We were more living in common back then. You feel me? Your necessities were provided for based off what everybody came to the table with, and then your necessities were provided for. If your house and family is bigger than mine, then you require more than me. You know, I mean, little stuff like that. But that defended us from modern day capitalism. You understand? When you got to rush out there and throw yourself back in bondage to find something to pay this and pay that. When we got the resources and the skills already, actually, we just scared. Just call it what it is. You just don't want to be. You don't want to be inconvenienced. You understand? But revolution and freedom is not a parquet process. It don't spread like butter. You understand? You got to be dedicated to something higher than yourself, man. So for those that's willing to put themselves in a situation to prep their families to start going without or not being as convenienced as you was for the sake of what's coming down the pipe, you feel me? Salute. That's what's up, man. Feel me? Because these brothers was homeless. Messiah said, I don't got a place to lay my head, man. The foxes have holes and the birds have nests. You gonna follow me? Right. You follow me, boy. That's the life of an Israelite there, boy. Yeah. Because you don't know what the day gonna be about. It's just what it is, you dig? So it being they was homeless, what mortgage were they paying? Huh? Mm. If I wanted to write him in the ancient world, what address would I have sent it to? I'd have to find out where he was, and hopefully it'd get to him by the time he leave that spot. But you look down on brothers and sisters today that may not be as fortunate as you. You know what I'm saying, material wise.
Hey, and that's something that I talk about though, for real, because
break yourself off.
You know, certain people talk about the materialistic situations. You want to talk about your material, but you pay attention to certain things. You got this guy Louis, what's his name? Louis Farrakhan?
Calypto Louis.
Man, dude, if you talk about materials, dude got some material.
Yeah.
Women, what do you name it? Yeah. But do he believe in your God? Nah. So to say that the Lord's not dealing with you, we can't use materialistic situations. Nah. Speak on if the Lord is dealing with you. Now you can have you can have great materials. Yeah. It has nothing to do with you. Yeah. You know, and just like the rich ruler, you know what I'm saying? Was he really ready? He didn't even have the faith and spirit. He just had materials.
He wasn't ready.
He wasn't even ready. His faith and spirit, once he said, listen, give those things that you have gained, all the materials, all the money you've gained. If you believe I'm he, and you ready to follow me, you know this is the walk, then listen, give all those things up to the poor. Come on, man, let's go right now. You get troubled by that? Oh, brother, you ain't ready.
You ain't ready. You're offended.
Yeah, straight up.
Yeah. And then look, these brothers had skills though, because Paul and them was tent makers. You know what I'm saying? Ain't like wherever they landed, they couldn't do something to get something cracking. You understand? But the fact of the matter was they had no certain dwelling place, and the outsiders called them homeless. You understand? Outsiders called them homeless. How was he able to be in Ephesus one day, back in Jerusalem the next, and over in Arabia the next day? How was they able to do all that? They must really look. He committed himself to an ideal or a belief that was higher than himself, and was willing to sacrifice everything on this side to gain the abundance on the next side. Feel me? Anybody can have skill, but when we talk about sacrifice, boy, hey, line shrink. Everybody start checking out once you start talking about sacrifice. Giving up something for the greater cause. Oh, man, boy.
Boy, you be talk scorn, boy. You talk about brothers during that time with some of these American-made women right now, boy. Oh, goodness, brother. You talk scorn. Homeless?
Nigga, what? This nigga's a deadbeat.
We waiting on a man of the Lord, bro. I thought you was a man of the Lord. You homeless?
Oh no!
That'd be the last thing you want to tell a daughter right now.
Oh, bad. Because your dreams are still set in your mind, even though you see this, even though you see death everywhere, and you see the collapse of every fabric of the society, you see the stock market crashing. You see all this stuff right in front of you. In your mind, in the back of your mind, you still like, I want to achieve the American dream. Like you ain't thought like, look, the house is on fire. You know what I'm saying? Like our conversation and thinking need to shift from talking about hanging drywall and doing some plumbing. The house is on fire. You understand? Yo, you don't talk about doing plumbing and painting and hanging drywall and the house is on fire. No, there's no home improvement. The house is on fire.
Right.
What you need to be doing? Getting the hell about the crib. You know, get your loved ones, get up out of there. You understand? Then you can talk solution after safety is there. You dig? I mean, we need to shift our thinking. We know that this is a we've been past the keys to a burning house. We know this place is on fire. You understand? So the point being is the time is coming to where you're not gonna be able to brag on your job, man. You're not gonna be able to brag on how big your house is or your cars or none of that. And when you're done talking, when the mark of the beast come out, we are hobos at that point, buddy.
Yeah.
And what is a hobo but somebody that travels to look for employment? Look up the definition. He's just somebody who ain't no employment where he at. So he got to travel elsewhere to make money. Really, what's bad? What's wrong with that? Because that's what they did. They had to travel. You feel me? They had no certain dwelling place. Today, you'd have called that person a hobo. And you'd talk bad about it. Even though this society is decaying every second. All right? Uh-oh, I see you. I don't hurt nobody. Dang. That's what's up. You be safe out there. That bottom lock, you cool.
Got all this combined.
Yeah. That's what it is.
Could you picture somebody like Oprah?
Ooh.
Sitting down there, you have all those things she had and gained. Now she walking with the rest of us hobos. Huh? Homeless? Yeah, no doubt. Getting on up out of here though. That'd be something. That'd be the LeBron James. Huh? All them rings on his finger. Floyd Mayweather.
Oh, can you imagine pretty boy Floyd? Boy? Oh man. Boy, Floyd selling food stamps. Oh my God. What? Nah, but what you got is people that's prepped to take the mark. They done went so long with having, God forbid. You got brothers in the Bible that had but was willing to lose it all. Like Job, you know what I'm saying? Abraham, whoever, you dig? But you got these people today, boy. Can you imagine pretty boy? For that boy, net worth is like 900 million. You understand? Like Floyd as a businessman and handled his business.
That's right.
Like you would say, this man is very successful.
Bro say Oprah be dressing like she did in Color Purple.
See, Lee? Oh boy. Yeah, hey, them days is coming. You gonna have to wipe your teeth off and keep it moving. Better wipe them teeth off and come on. come on. You got the first Corinthians 4:11 through 13. You better wipe your teeth off. Yeah, boy, they coming after our heads. It's time for us to make moves.
Now run up to 16.
Now, you can go as far as you want to go, my brother.
All right, we're in the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 4, verse 11.
Yeah.
And it reads, even unto this present hour we both hunger and thirst and are naked and are buffeted and have no certain dwelling place.
See, that's what he was saying right there. He ain't had no certain dwelling place. We hunger, you know what I'm saying? Thirsty, we buffeted, we being oppressed, and we have no certain dwelling place. We don't have it to this very hour. This is Paul the Apostle. The love of the Almighty. And he was like, based off the mission that I'm on, I don't even have a certain dwelling place. You would talk bad about a brother like that today. Even though he was spiritually rich and having all this spiritual knowledge and insight and ascended to the third level and saw things, even though the Most High deals with him.
Right.
Today, if you corner, you be like, oh, that Buster ain't talking about nothing. Girl, you don't even got no place to stay. That's how I got to say. So you claiming you a Hebrew, you understand? You claiming you down with this Bible. It's just when certain things come out, people get mumble-mouthed. You dig? And of course, again, you got things you got to understand all that, man. But look, none of that is going to get you into the kingdom. None of it. These brothers they sacrificed. They laid down their life. They became selfless. They put others before them. You understand? That they may get up on a level and learn this truth. All right, what else to say?
Verse 12. And labor, working with our hands.
So they wasn't sitting back playing Xbox all day, smoking blunts. Right? These brothers had skills. They could work with their hands and get something cracking. But the fact is, they had no certain dwelling place, man. Most High had you over here the one day and over here the next.
Yeah, but just think, it's just like me, I'm a contractor.
Yeah.
My job is not at the same spot every day.
Right.
Every time I finish a job, I'm unemployed. I'm looking for my next job.
Yeah.
Hence the reason I'm here now in the middle of a rainy day.
Yeah.
I'm off today.
Yeah.
Not by choice,
Right.
but by weather. But anyway, that's what it is. But I'm always working. My hands are working man hands. I'm in my work clothes right now.
So is, boy.
So you understand, we don't, just do nothing. We work, and then we labor in this word too, day and night.
That's right.
I speak for myself and my brothers
Right.
because I know what they do. I'm around them.
That's right.
But then we get back. I'm in First Corinthians chapter 4, verse 12 again. And labor, working with our own hands, being reviled, we bless. Being persecuted, we suffer.
See, you get reviled. What's that? Bless you, bro.
Right.
The God, may the Most High God grant you peace.
Yes.
May you find the peace you're looking for. Nigga, you bless you too. That crazy. That got Nick Rose thinking you soft. You like, all right.
Yeah, don't let the smoke taste food.
All right, you know. Get yourself embarrassed if you want. Well, bless you, brother.
Yeah.
Bless you. Yeah.
Well, you got whooped by homeless.
Homeless, God-fearing man.
Yeah.
Oh, that nigga believe in the Bible, man. That nigga soft.
Right.
He's soft. Yeah, all right. Don't get yourself embarrassed out there. We do believe in the laying on of hands still.
Right.
Come on, in, bro.
Verse 13.
Yeah.
Being defamed, we entreat. We are made as the filth of the world and are the offscouring of all things unto this day.
Scumbag.
Bums. So
We are made as the filth of the earth.
Yeah.
We get called that. I remember years ago, man, a good sister of mine, we still close to today, right? We was breaking her off and her friends, our partners, and them was heavy into the limelight in the clubs. Hell, she was for a minute. She ran to the brews and we started breaking her off, and then she started trying to, you know what I'm saying, tell a friend. They were like, girl, who you talking about? Who? Girl, you talking about them broke niggas on the west side, girl? Oh, no. Man, she called me and told me that, boy, I fell out laughing. Like, dang. These people really think we just, some straight bombs around this deal. You know, the Most High take care of us, man. Long we get up and do what we do every day, we provided for. You feel me? We went through times in our life to where you wasn't as employed as you was in previous time. How you gonna go through all that? As long as you don't get lazy, you believe in the Most High, and you jump out there and take an initiative, everything that people complain about will be provided for. That's the truth. But what made us a filth. But I remember that personal testimony. Girl, who? Not them broke niggas on that west side. You can't be listening to them. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
But you know what? It's just an illusion. The illusion is out there. Because you got the heathen out there. You look at the way the heathen dress. You're not never really thinking that they broke at all. But you look at the way they dress. They got some jeans on. that you can tell the wallet is in their pocket. It's half the wallet is hanging out, but it's in the pocket.
Yeah.
Back of the pocket broke.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The worst shoes ever. No socks on. You know what I'm saying? Looking like a hobo, but you believe it in your mind that they got a lot of money. But you look at the Israelite, you point them out as being materialistic, no money, broken. You know what I'm saying? Because you're looking on an outer cup level, but very rich in spirit. You know what I'm saying? By truth and knowledge, you're very rich. You know, and that's the way we need to look at these things more often than looking at it on a outer cup level.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because you can get you a rich dummy.
Or you can get somebody that's spending all their bread on their clothes front.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
About some death.
Yeah.
You get some rich death.
Yeah, you sure can. Get you bumping in one of them ballers that's passing out STD.
Yeah.
In the club.
Yeah.
We came up with cats that used to do that. You feel me? Prey on some type of gold digger or whatever. Cat was big. Big out here selling dope. Big. Major. But they don't know. I knew the cat. I knew him. He used to purposely go to the club and find women to give an STD to. That was his purpose.
They looking at his whip.
Yeah, they looking at his whip because he was an ugly joker. He was beyond like, hey, ain't no way in the world some woman for, man, please. That money come out, boy. Well, he buying everything, whatever. Yeah.
You seen that with a Flavor of Love.
Yeah.
Flavor. I ain't got to be judging brothers, but Flavor. Oh my goodness, man. To be having this many women sitting over here flipping over you, man.
Yeah.
Like, look, got to be the money.
Got to be the money.
The illusion is ridiculous.
Yeah.
So you don't really want the truth or something that's leading, not unless it come with the dollar bill. Now you got the dollar, now we talking.
Yeah.
Once this dollar fall, when you put everybody on the same, like we talking about Oprah walking with us, then yeah, that's what we want. That's what we're waiting on. We're waiting to see the heart then when there ain't no more money out here.
Oh wait, boy, I'm gonna be doing me some marketing that day, boy.
I'm telling you. I'm telling you. What's that one song? I want to play it. Boy, if the most high would let us, boy, if this would go down. Bands will make her dance.
Yeah.
Bands will make her dance. Boy! You gotta play stuff like that, boy, because you really let these women. I mean, I know I say women, but a lot of people do things for the money. But just look at this, man. It's ridiculous. How bands will make her dance. You feel me? And when the bands really don't mean nothing. So what was you really out there dancing for? You feel me?
Yeah.
You was out there dancing for nothing. You thought these things you was getting something out of this, and what you got? A brother with STD.
Yeah.
For them bands.
A rich brother with STD. Nigga's a millionaire, man.
Yeah, took you home, had a nice good time, and then after that, left you off with a nice little pocket.
This nigga looked like McGruff, the crime dog, back in the day. Like, I can't believe these women fought. Wait, it's the money. Must be the money. Must be the money. It's crazy, man. All right, we're going to finish it off.
The book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 4, verse 14. I write not these things to shame you, but as my beloved sons, I warn you. For though ye have 10,000 instructors in Hamashiach, yet have ye not many fathers. For in Hamashiach Yahushua I have begotten you through the gospel.
So they're showing you that there were many false cats out there. He's like, you got many instructors, don't have many fathers though. You feel me? And all Paul is just saying here, look, follow me because I follow Christ. There's a lot of different cats out here like Marcion and them. That scripture shape. I follow Mashiach. So follow me. All right.
That's what that 16 sums it up.
Yeah.
Wherefore I beseech you, be ye followers of me.
Yeah.
That's it. That's
real tough. Then we do Luke 9 real quick and we can get back there. Luke 9, 57 through 62.
You got that Luke 9? You want me to grab it, bro?
I got it. You got that book up there. Luke 9 and who?
57 through 62, my brother. Looking at the comment board. Shalom, family. All praise, glory, and honor. Good to see you brothers and sisters rolling with us again. All praises. Passover coming up, baby. March 31st at 6 p.m. We'll be at the 3900 Goodfellow, the Omega Center here in the STL.
Yes, sir.
Right on the west side, baby.
Right in the Jeter.
Yeah, right where it go down at, man. But we're going to lift up the name of the Most High God, man. You understand? Owner, creator, and possessor of all things, man. We're going to scream along to the king. You know, short leggers running around everywhere. The bros will be on security, making sure everything's straight. We'll see brothers eating like it's the Matrix, eating in haste. Well, at least I know I do. I eat in haste. I don't play around, you know, like it's a buffet or nothing like that. I eat in haste. Stay on watch. Yeah. All praise to the Most High. Yeah, Luke 9:57-62.
Reading in the book of Luke, chapter 9, verse 57.
Yes, sir.
And it came to pass that as they went in the way, a certain man said unto him, Master, I will follow thee whithersoever thou goest. And Yeshua said unto him, Foxes have holes, and birds of the air have nests, but the Son of Man hath not where to lay his head.
You see that? So he letting it be known. He like the birds and the foxes got a place to go. I don't got a place to go. So in other words, count the cost before you claim you following me. Because I don't have a place to lay my head. Like Paul said in 1 Corinthians, we have no certain dwelling place. No certain dwelling place, man. All right, go ahead.
Verse 59.
Yeah.
And he said unto another, Follow me. But he said, Master, suffer me first to go and bury my father. And Yeshua said unto him, Let the dead bury their dead.
Oh, everybody got an excuse. I want to follow you, but let me go bury my pops. He said, let the dead bury the dead. Let the spiritually dead bury the physical dead. We got kingdom work to do out here.
That's right.
All right, go ahead, Hebrew.
But go thou and preach the kingdom of Yah.
Now ask yourself, could you do that? I asked a cousin of that. I'm going through some scriptures with her a few years ago. You feel me? She wanted to know like what I was on. He's one of the first scriptures I went to. Like, now ask yourself, the Messiah was looking you right in your face and told you later for your old dude funeral, I got work for you to do over here. Go teach about the kingdom over here. Let the dead bury their dead. Could you go? Could you say, sir, yes, sir? You know, get it done without batting the eye. You understand? Would you come up with an excuse? Feel me? My cousin told me, looked me right in my face and said, I ain't gonna lie, I couldn't do that. I said, that's the difference between you and I.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? The master tell me to do something, it's done. That's where I'm at with it. You feel me? And again, he letting it be known, count the cost. It ain't gonna be smooth. Like people get down with the script and think it's all smooth and you ain't gonna have no problems. No, it's gonna be rough and you're gonna have more problems. More Messiah, more problems. Just the truth. Not more money, more problems. The more you believe in the Messiah comes more problems. Because that spirit is contrary to the spirit of the world.
That's right.
Just what it is. I ain't got a place to lay my head, but the animals do. Let the dead bury the dead. You go teach the kingdom. Wait. Go ahead, Hebrew.
Verse 61.
Yeah.
And another also said, Master, I will follow thee, but let me first go bid them farewell, which are at home at my house.
Yeah.
And Yeshua said unto him, No man, having put his hand to the plow and looking back, is fit for the kingdom of Yah.
No man putting his hand to the plow and looking back is fit for the kingdom, because you're constantly making excuses. You constantly dwell on what's old and not what's in front of us. What's up with you, little joker? Yeah. Yeah, so no man putting his hand to the plow and looking back is even fit for the kingdom of the Most High. Wow. Once you put your hand to this plow, there is no looking back. There is no your past life. Ain't none of that. Set forward to the kingdom. All right, so that's it with that. I want to show that. Let's get back to the Celsius real quick. All right? Again, we're going over the historical evidence. Put out there, let me see that book right there too. The historical evidence that talks about the Messiah before 325 AD. Before any of that. First one was the Annals of Imperial Rome by Cornelius Tacitus, chronicalizing or the records of Rome from 14 AD to 66 AD. Messiah is in her, and they got him being crucified by Pontius Pilate. The next record we went to was Pliny the Younger, put out by Oxford, in which he's speaking to Trajan Caesar on how to punish those that follow Christ. And this was at the latest the year 112 AD. Still 200 years before the Council of Nicaea. Now we in Celsius. And he wrote a whole book against those that followed the Messiah. Before Christianity was even formed. Oh, wait. All right, let's get it done, bro. What was you at? What page you on?
I'm still at 28.
Okay.
It says, all right, we go back at this and say, like the founder, the Christians were homeless preachers who made that little money, who made what little money they needed from their revivals. Like the founder and like Paul, they led a life fraught with danger.
You see that? He say, we are persecuted on every side. We are made as a filth of the earth. Like this right here is a life of danger, right? You don't be compensated for it. Like, it ain't like you're getting financially compensated for doing this. It ain't like you gain more friends doing this, right? It ain't like you become more popular doing this. You see? Homeless, danger. Ooh, wait. Go ahead, Hebrew.
Rejection.
Ooh.
Rejection was their common lot.
Hello. Rejection was their common lot?
Their common lot.
You should feel good that this was a naysayer wrote this book 1900 years ago, explaining the belief of those that follow the Messiah and how rejection is their common lot.
They say as fools for Christ.
Oh, and that, like, if you would have went back a verse in that 1 Corinthians 4:10, it said we are fools for Christ's sake. That's 1 Corinthians 4:10. As fools. See, the world look at us as foolish or as fools. Like, why would you go through something and make it hard on yourself carnally? You understand? To promote the message of a man that's dead and resurrected. Why would you do that? All right, come on, Hebrew.
Say they embraced the faith of Yahushua willingly.
Ooh.
In the certainty that his triumph was their triumph.
The scriptures say that if we live with him, we'll reign with him. You know, if we partake in his sufferings, we partake in his glory. See, so he letting you know 1900 years ago, this was the mindset of those that followed him. And we can see the same thing in the scriptures. And this is a naysayer. He just writing down what he observed from dealing with them or coming across those that followed the Messiah. All right, go ahead, Doc.
You say, and that they would be raised up on the last day.
Beautiful.
At best, such emulation might be seen as foolhardiness, or to use the common epithet. Epithet.
Yeah, it's an epithet. It's for
epithet, or is it superstition in parentheses?
Yeah, yeah.
Yep, that's one highlighted spot. I'm gonna go to another. Turn over to page 30.
Y'all can read 2 Corinthians 11:22 on down too and go through the dangers of being a follower of the Messiah. Paul was beaten with rods, suffered shipwreck, stoned, whipped by his ex-Pharisee brothers 199 times, always in jail, wasn't eating 3 meals a day like you. You understand? Didn't have a whole bunch of different clothes like you, and he still pushed forward. At the end of his life, he knew he had a crown waiting on him. There's a crown laid up for him. 2 Corinthians 11:22-33. All right, go ahead. We're still in the book Celsius.
Yep, I'm going to another spot. It says, and despite his repetitious contempt for the low intellectual attainment of Christian teachers and presbyters, yeah, presbyters. He got it broken up. Presbyters. The very extent of his essay demonstrates the seriousness with which the new religion was taken in the closing decades of the 2nd century.
Meaning those that follow Messiah, boy, you feel me? It was, like I said in Acts, it was turning the world upside down. Turn the world upside down. I just read a couple of that. What that say?
It said, what is that?
Origin.
Origin, adversary, charging off the miracles of Yahushua to magical practices that were learned by his disciples.
They're saying so they saying they're admitting he had spiritual power. If you're gonna stoop to the level of calling it black magic, you're admitting he has spiritual power. See that? I need Mark 3. Grab Mark 3, 4, grab Mark 3. Mark chapter 3 to show something real quick, because that's them giving the power that's being manifested by the Most High. They giving it. He just gave the attribute to the devil.
I'm gonna read this one while he getting it. It says, "For Celsius, such inconsistencies are fatal. Even Yahushua's behavior is not becoming of a god. He was a sorcerer."
You see, the writer of this book called him a sorcerer. After he examined everything that was written about him all the way up to where he was living at, which wasn't even 200 AD. You're like, man, that man had to be a sorcerer. He had to be a sorcerer. I mean, he was he's saying that the Messiah was a practitioner of black magic, sorcery. But what are you admitting when you done talking? That he had some type of spiritual power? Feel me? And nobody finna call you a sorcerer just for walking through that door right there.
Unless you walk through the door.
Then he walked through the door. Dang! Dang!
Yeah,
But his enemies on the low are admitting, well, he had to possess some type of power, because they wouldn't stoop that low to call it black magic or sorcery.
Yeah.
See that?
They call it sorcery, saying that we speak to the Father and seeing things happen after the speaking of the Father. You know what I'm saying? They call it some type of sorcery. They say he flinched in the face of adversity,
which is a lie. What we just read when he was on trial with Pilate. We just read when we was on trial with Pilate. I told Pilate, "You asked me because you want to know, or you asked me because you heard that about me." He wasn't flinching in the face of adversity.
Now we all may get this one right here. They say he was disrespectful of the customs of his people.
yeah. And he just let it be known those customs won't grant you eternal life. You holding on to customs more than you doing the commandments of God. Traditions of men. Go ahead, Doc.
One even hears of his eating habits. Does the body of a god need nourishment?
Man, hey, look. So these are the hitting points that a lot of naysayers did. But the whole point is this: why is he talking about a Messiah 150 years before the Council of Nicaea? He even wrote a whole book over him and his followers. See, so their lust to hate him didn't do nothing but prove his existence. That was just the whole point in going into it. You got to Mark 3 for me. Go around 23. We're going to read 23 to 31, I believe it is. And it's about blasphemy the Holy Spirit.
Okay. Reading in the book of Mark, chapter 3, verse 23.
Remember, he said magic tricks learned by his disciples instead of spiritual power from the Most High God. Right. He called it magical practices. We're going to end it with that Josephus.
The book of Mark, chapter 3, verse 23. And he called them unto him and said unto them in parable, how can Satan cast out Satan? And if a kingdom be divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand. And if a house be divided against itself, that house cannot stand. And if Satan rise up against himself and be divided, he cannot stand, but hath an end. No man can enter into a strong man's house and spoil his goods, except he will first bind the strong man, and then he will spoil his house.
That's right.
Verily I say unto you, all sin shall be forgiven unto the sons of men, and blasphemies wherewithsoever they shall blaspheme. But he that shall blaspheme against the Holy Ghost hath never forgiveness, but is in danger of eternal damnation.
Yeah.
Because they said he hath an unclean spirit.
Now that's what you're saying. If you're saying that his spiritual power, what he was doing, acts of righteousness, which is cheap magic spells. Or sorcery. Call him a sorcerer. You dig? But them them lusting to hate him so bad only prove his existence. You understand? Even in the Talmud, they talk about the Messiah. Call him Yeshua.
Mhm.
They talk about how he burning in hell and hot excrement. But why don't say the Santa Claus is burning in hell? Why don't say the Easter Bunny or the Boogeyman? Something about this Messiah that was crucified 2,000 years ago got everybody talking.
Mhm.
You dig? And why are you spending so much energy on somebody that don't exist? That's my question.
Why they basing time off of it?
Yeah.
It doesn't exist.
That's a question to ask though, because you got time as
Time.
BC.
Yeah.
Like, man, what is that?
You know,
Beyond
nigga,
control.
man, no, Negro gonna try to
Yeah.
say, the Negro gonna get fancy with you and say, well, technically it's BC, before the Common Era, right? The next question should be, before what Common Era?
Right. What made it come?
What made it common? Whose birth was they counting down to?
Right.
No doubt.
What made it common? And let me now messianics, because if you want to talk about history, you got to use the terms BC and AD.
No doubt.
Got to use it to understand where you at in history.
No doubt.
Non-messianic Negro is saying this is the year 5778, according to a rabbinical calendar that y'all claim y'all got since the 2nd century. Understand? Yeah, I hear you. I hear you talking. It's the year 5778. But when we get to talk about history, ain't none of you Negroes. Oh, that was, you understand? That was 2,000, 3,000 years. That was 2778. Ain't none of y'all saying that, because you wouldn't even be able to make sense in no dialogue without bringing in BC and AD. You talking about history. Dig? You don't got that Josephus on you, do you?
I think I have it in my phone.
Do you? I need to right here where you talk about the Messiah. If not, I'm a wisdom card. I'm trying to pull it up myself. Try to get that pulled up real quick. And that'll be the last historian. We got 3 Roman historians. I got a few more at the crib too. The 12 Caesars is a good one.
Like I said, I got Flavius.
Yeah, what I'm talking about. Yeah, Flavius Josephus, and then look for the where he talking about the Messiah in the back. If you can't find it, I'll try to find it real quick. Bang, bang, bang.
They were talking about the Jew.
No, he gives a discourse about the Messiah. I don't know why I can't pull this deal up. It ain't even no chapters, like something in the back where he's giving his breakdown about when the Messiah started his ministry. Can I go to Wikipedia? Huh? Yeah, it might be. It might be.
What's it?
The 3 passages. Dang. I heard it right here. Antiquity of the Jews, book 20, chapter 9, section 1. Antiquity of the Jews is in Flavius Josephus. Antiquity of the Jews, book 20, chapter 1. Josephus refers to the stoning of James, the brother of Jesus. James the Just, by the order of Anuas ben Anuas, a Herodian high priest. All right, he talked about that, right? But look, it's a part in here where he mentions the Messiah by name and say, look, if it was lawful to even call him a man.
Yeah.
You feel me? That's what I'm looking for. Okay. Here we go, right here. Book 18. It says of the book referenced in book 18, chapter 3, section 3 of the Antiquities, a passage that states that Jesus the Messiah was a wise teacher who was crucified by Pilate. Right? Now, we read the same thing in in the Annals of Imperial Rome. You feel me? Josephus was an Israelite historian. And it was common knowledge amongst them that the Messiah was actually crucified by Pilate. What I'm looking for, though, is his exact statement. And I got the Josephus at the crib. Y'all can look for it when y'all get the time. You dig? But shit, New York, I'm gonna try to find this deal before I get up off here. Bing, bing, bang. Bing, bing, bang. I think I might got it, bro. Let me see. Bang. Christian sources, they got a few of them on there. Well, I'm gonna have to look for it when I can. I know it's up in there. If I have my book on me, I can flip right to me. Testimony on Jesus. Oh, here it is. All you gotta do is just be patient with it, you know what I'm saying? It come right on up. This right here is okay, they got the life of Josephus right here. You got the testimony, Flavian testimony. Then down here it just says the testimony on Jesus. Textus Receptus, right? The Passion of Josephus, Antiquity of the Jews, book 18, chapter 3, section 3, written in 93 AD, concerning Jesus. Right here, it says, now there was about this time Jesus, a wise man, if it be lawful to call him a man. Again, this is Antiquity of the Jews, book 18, chapter 3, section 3. Flavius Josephus, his testimony on the Messiah is in the back of all your Josephus books you got. Antiquity of the Jews, book 18, chapter 3, section 3. Now there was about this time Jesus, a wise man, if it be lawful to call him a man. For he was a doer of wonderful works. He was a doer of wonderful works, a teacher of such men as received the truth with pleasure. He drew over to him both many Jews and many of the Gentiles. He was the Christ. And when Pilate, at the suggestion of the principal men amongst us, had condemned him to the cross, those that loved him at the first did not forsake him. For he appeared to them alive again the third day, as the divine prophets have foretold these and 10,000 other wonderful things concerning him, and the tribe of Christians so named from him are not extinct at this day. And by the year 93 AD, those that followed the Messiah were still out here pushing this word. You see? So those are four historians, while the Negro in New York claimed no historian talked about it. Now, the next issue is going to be that was put in there, right? But all these are his enemies. These are his enemies. It don't profit them none. Talk about him, they talk bad about him, actually. You understand? And then this one right here, Pliny was making them deny their faith, right? Or burn them. This right here, he was talking bad about him. He was a sorcerer, black magic, cheap spells. This right here talk about how they was nailing the followers of the Messiah who was crucified under Pontius Pilate to crosses. They was feeding the dogs, covered by the skins of beasts, and they was crucifying them and then burning them so their bodies could serve for street lights. Daylight expired. You dig? So we got some of the historical books, including Flavius Josephus, Antiquity of the Jews, book 18, chapter 3, section 3. The Annals of Imperial Rome by Cornelius Tacitus, one reference. Pliny the Younger, another reference. Celsus on the True Doctrine, all written hundreds of years before the Council of Nicaea, which proves the Messiah nor his movement was invented at the Council of Nicaea in 325 AD.
White man's book.
Case closed.
It ain't the white man's book, huh? Can't put that on the white man. Anti-white man.
Right.
All right, let's finish this up, man. We're going to do 1 John chapter 2. We're going to close out. 1 John 2, 18 on out. We out of here, son. Case closed. Messiah proven through history. What's up with you, little joke? Huh? 2, we started 18. Let's get it done, man, so we get up out of here. You got suspended. Oh, yeah, little joke. I got knuckles for you. Nah, yeah, with you over there. Look, you got suspended, got took to McDonald's. Boy, yeah. you getting treated good out here. Well, I got suspended. It was over.
1 John chapter 2.
It was a knuckle sound.
Just sort of 18.
1 John chapter 2, I'm going to start at 15. It says, 15 says, love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him.
Yeah, that's the problem, man. Our people are in love with this world. This little sister that was in here on Friday, she was in love with the world, boy. Little stripper pole. She was in love with the world. I said, you still in love with the world? Yeah, my friends and my gay friends, and they good people. Yeah, whatever. You still in love with the world. Go ahead, Ebro.
For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, and the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life, is not of the Father, but is of the world.
Yeah, everything, including the hate of the Messiah. You lust to do that. Go ahead, Doc.
And the world passeth away,
Beautiful.
and the lust thereof.
Ah, so even more beautiful.
But he that doeth the will of Yah abideth forever.
See, so what ought we to be doing? Even though we're deemed homeless preachers. Girl, on where? The west side.
Well, John Mathis say taking that boy to McDonald's is punishment.
Yeah, little joker. Over there eating that horse meat.
Yeah.
Oh boy, the baby meat.
Yeah.
Verse 18.
Shout out my aunt John Mathis. Boy, that was a good one. Go ahead, Ebro.
Verse 18. It says, little children, it is the last time. And as ye have heard that Antichrist shall come, even now are there many Antichrists.
See, so this was written 2,000 years ago. How much more now? He says it's the last time, man. You heard Antichrist should come. There are many of them. They all on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. I mean, it's people that be lusting. This decrepit Negro I know, he about 70. He call himself an elder, a chief prince, right? This Negro got the nerve to say that the Messiah was butt naked in the bed with a boy and some lingerie all night. What? I said, well, what the? And no historian talked about it. It sounded like he got a mouthful of spit. I'd like the Most High drowning him on out. You dig? He like, what? The historian talked about him. We got a few of them right here, buddy. Yeah, got a few of them right here. Oh, what historian? It's about as real as Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, family. Everybody think because he dressed with a turban on and got him a little bird and been in this way of life, he claims 50 plus years. I'm like, look, you missed the mark.
Yeah.
You just an old fool. That's it. Go ahead, Ebro.
It says, whereby we know that it is the last time.
It is.
They went out from us, but they were not of us.
Yeah.
For if they had been of us, they would no doubt have continued with us.
Yeah, that's to Hasmodeus and Nimrod. Hazron and Nimshank that fell out the belief of the Messiah. Feel me? That we know personally around here. One of them is a full-blown atheist now. Daniel Solomon prophesied and said that. And when it happened, I said, boy, I don't even think it was a whole year later. Dude was a straight atheist. Negro calls himself the spiritual scientist. Negro named Hezron Nance. We're going to put you out there, Negro. You understand? Daniel looked him right in his face and told him, you're going to be an atheist within a year. Watch. And show as horse boo-boo stank. The show is your boo-boo stank. That boy was a full-blown atheist. The other one went from teaching in the streets to making videos on the side of his house, but he ain't made a video in 4 years. Most High straight put their lights out, man, when they turned their back on the Messiah.
No, brother, he actually visiting the blood bank pretty much about twice a week. Get him $50 twice a week.
Oh yeah. He giving his covenant away.
Yeah,
his covenant blood. He giving all that away. You did? I heard the blood bank. Come on, Ebro.
He said, but they went out that they might be made manifest, that they were not all of us, but ye have an unction from the Holy One, and ye know all things.
Yeah.
I have not written unto you because ye know not the truth, but because ye know it, and that no lie is of the truth.
No lies of the truth, man. And the reason anybody fall out from the belief in the Messiah is because the Most High wasn't dealing with it. You ain't believe in the first place. You ain't believe in the first place, man. Go ahead, Op.
Who is a liar? But he that denieth that Yahushua is the Messiah. He is the Antichrist, that deny the Father and the Son.
That deny the Father and the Son is Antichrist, meaning non-messianic. And these Negroes are actually claiming this. He say, yeah, I'm Bartholomew and I'm a non-messianic. You just said you were not anointed. I wouldn't even claim that. Even if, why don't you just say, I strictly stick to the Old Testament, brother, or I'm a Tanakh only Israelite. Like these niggas is actually calling themselves non-anointed and expect us to take you serious.
Right.
Go ahead, Al.
Verse 23.
Yeah.
Whosoever denied the Son, the same had not the Father.
That's right.
But he that acknowledged the Son had the Father also.
Man, look, that ain't put in there just to scare you. It's the truth. It's the truth. You dig? And we can do the same thing going right back to what you would call the Old Testament and showing you Mashiach, man. Y'all problem for real is with the religion of Christianity. The New Testament matches right up with the Old Testament. Because it's one solid book, man. All right, go ahead, Al.
Let that therefore abide in you, which ye have heard from the beginning.
That's right, man. You did picked up this faith right here, this walk, the commandments of the Most High, and faith and testimony of his dear Son. Let that abide in you, man. Don't let nobody that's selling snot slide up on you and just, you feel me, seduce you, and now you all left field not believing anymore. You feel me? And then on the low firing shots over here. Come on, now.
If that which ye have heard from the beginning shall remain in you, ye also shall continue in the Son and in the Father.
That's right.
And this is the promise that he had promised us, even eternal life.
That's right.
These things have I written unto you concerning them that seduce you.
Concerning them that who?
Seduce you.
You could be seduced. You feel me? You could be beguiled by snake oil doctrine. Right? And I feel you on the chat. What the hell is a Torah only? There's one book. You feel me? What you think the disciples and them were teaching out of? The Torah.
No doubt.
Proving who Mashiach is.
No doubt. Day in and day out.
Yeah. From morning till evening. Go ahead, Al.
Verse 27. But the anointing which ye have received of him abideth in you, and ye need not that any man teach you.
Yeah, come on.
But as the same anointing teacheth you of all things, and is truth, and is no lie, and even as it had taught you, ye shall abide in him.
That's the Tanakh, Hebrew and English, right there. Messiah all through that deal. Especially when we get in the Psalms, boy. Ooh-wee. Where you start seeing salvation and seeing how it's written out. Yahshua, oh, wait. You start dropping phones, boy. Dang. Amazing. When they say the volume of the book. You feel me? Salvation, one way you write, for the main way you write salvation in Hebrew is Yahshua. Look up salvation in the scriptures to see when the first time it's used. It's used in Genesis, the 49th chapter. Go to the interlinear and click on the word salvation, and Yeshua is going to pop up. Huh? Oh, wait. You are non-believer. And then I know what you non-believers, y'all speak Hebrew, but when it comes to this word salvation, you speak English. Why don't you speak salvation in Hebrew? Because you got to say the name of the Son of God, don't you? Yeshua. You can't have salvation without him. He was sent by the Most High. H3444, if I'm lying to you, get your blue letter Bibles out, get your concordances out, get your Bible Gateway out, get your My Swords, your E-Swords, get them all out. Type in salvation right now. You're going to see the first time it is used is in Genesis, the 49th chapter. Click on the interlinear. Click that tab. Bang. Scroll on down. Go to salvation. Click that. It's going to say Yahshua. You talking about the volume of the book? Yeah. Yeah. And I've noticed you Negroes that claim to be Torah only, when it comes to the word salvation, you never speak it in Hebrew. You never speak it in Hebrew. Why? Because you got to say his name if you do. And your whole thing you talk about comes what? Tumbling down. Even your Talmud call him Yeshua. Don't say Jesus, they call him Yeshua. They recognize he lived and everything, but they say he's burning in hell in hot excrement. But nonetheless, you're talking about him, which proves what? He walked this earth.
That's right.
You dig? And if he walked this earth, that means everything about him is true, including the return. Oh, wait. Oh, wait. Let's get it, Hebrew. Where you
Verse
at?
28.
Yeah.
It says, and now, little children, abide in him, that when he shall appear, we may have confidence and not be ashamed before him at his coming.
That's right, Doc. Not be ashamed of him at his coming. You don't want to be ashamed when the master show up. You dig? You out here fence straddling and you ain't sure about the truth. Hey, man, look, it is what it is, man. Check in or check out. And if you ain't down, stay up on the porch somewhere. You're doing a disservice, man. All right, I got 2 Peter. Give me 2 Peter 2. I need 1 through 4. I need that book of Jude, like 3 through 6. And let's close on that, man.
I'm finishing this up. Verse 29. It says, if ye know that he is righteous, ye know that everyone that doeth righteousness is born of him.
That's right, man. So watch the snake oil salesman. Watch the doctrine that's slicker than snot. Bunny looking at me like, wow. That's slicker than snot. I need to watch that, man, because you could be seduced, you could be beguiled, and you could lose your crown. You could lose your crown, your reward that the Most High got for us, man. Why? Because you didn't believe, you didn't make your call and election sure. You really didn't study this thing, meditated, prayed. None of you didn't become the very thing you claim you are. It just was something you did. This can't be a hobby to us. It got to be our life. You got to live this. 24/7, 365, check in or check out, man. Period. And if that ain't your mindset, you're gonna fall off. The curves of the world catch up with you eventually. Like, boy, I so miss how boy I used to walk up in there and all the women would throw me their drawers, and yeah, you miss all that. I see you still love the world. Like little Miss Stripper Pole that was here last Friday. I asked, I said, because you in love with the world. She said, right. Yeah, I know. They ain't hard to tell you in love with the world. What do you mean? What do you mean? She got about her boo-boo and it was like, Mally, you know, I already knew. Because I was talking about we got to get our sisters off them stripper poles. You feel me? As soon as I said it, she looked over at boo-boo like, how you know I did. Most I gave it to me.
That's how it happened.
Yeah, some girl man they put a name out there. But you want me to put a name out? Yeah, but I told her next time I see her, you better know them 10 Commandments. I asked her favorite song. She was like, what, God? Yeah, God song? I was like, no, any song. Black Youngster Too. I said, yeah, that came on right now. You be soft showing, wouldn't you?
Gonna skip a beat. No
Hey.
lyric on that.
You got about her. Sis was like, you know she is. I said, I knew it. I just, that's why we spoke. Hear me? She reacted. She must be one of them. And all my good gay friends that pay taxes and got a good heart. Next time I see you, you better know them 10 Commandments. Time is short. All right, you got 2 Peter for me, 2 Peter 2. I need 1 through 3, 1 through 4, and then Jude 3 through 6. And just going to contending for the faith. You know what I'm saying? It's just contending for the faith.
1 through 3.
2 Peter 2. 2 Peter 2, yeah, 1 through 3.
2 Peter chapter 2, verse 1. It says, but there was false prophets.
Yeah.
Also among the people, even as there shall be false teachers among you,
Truth,
who privately shall bring in damnable heresies, even denying the Lord that bought them, and bring upon themselves swift destruction.
Denying the Lord that bought, meaning you've been purchased.
Right.
Feel me? You owned by the Most High. Feel me? His son came and did what he did to purchase us. So we saying they gonna bring on themselves swift destruction because they gonna deny the master that bought us.
No doubt.
You've been purchased. You feel me? So you know if you bought something, ain't you coming to grab it? If you don't pick it up right now, look, I already bought it. I'm coming to grab it. You coming to grab that. You see? So if you deny the master that bought you, you're gonna bring upon yourself swift destruction. Swift destruction. Come on, huh?
and many shall follow their pernicious ways.
Many, majority, many. Go ahead.
By reason of whom the way of truth shall be evil spoken of.
Following, being a messianic brew, being the down with the Messiah, that's evil spoken of. Everybody got a problem with it. To where these mumble mouth Negroes confuse us with so-called Christianity, and you know better. You know better, man. We down with the book, say from cover to cover in Hebrew or English. All right, go ahead.
It says, and through covetousness shall they with vain words make merchandise of you, whose judgment now of a long time lingereth not.
Yeah.
And their damnation slumbereth not.
Their damnation slumber. In other words, their destruction ain't sleep, man. Most High coming to holler at you. You understand? You done been in this. This ain't a revolving door, man. It's impossible once you done came into this thing and turn your back. You feel me? You done tasted of everything to come and you turn your back, man. There remaineth no more sacrifice for you. That's it. That make you take this thing serious. Be serious with this call. Don't stop playing. That's for the children. Everybody want to play around. Well, God knows and play around, and I want to have fun. And since when is wickedness fun? We can have fun, all the fun we want to, being righteous. I had plenty of fun. I be kicking it with my brothers and sisters. And, hey, what over here? We get together, boy, be hollyhocking, laughing, and boy, we had a good old time last night. You did. And just what it is. You got that root, Jude, verse 3 through 4, 3 through 6, either one.
Jude, verse 3. It says, beloved, when I gave all diligence to write unto you of the common salvation, it was needful for me to write unto you and exhort you that ye should earnestly contend for the faith which was once delivered unto the saints.
See what he said? He said, earnestly contend. Contend means to fight. Earnestly fight for the faith that was once given to the saints. That's why swords be out. It's just what it is, man. We're going to have to speak on it. Get it done. Come on, Hebrew.
For there are certain men crept in unaware.
Meaning you ain't been paying attention, and certain snake oil salesmen then crept on in, seducing you with this doctrine.
Your flank is open.
Yeah, your flank is open. Go ahead, Hebrew.
Who were before of old ordained to this condemnation.
They say they were already ordained to this destruction. You see? Already. Come on, Hebrew.
Ungodly men.
What kind of men?
Ungodly men. Turning the grace of our power into lasciviousness.
That means extreme wickedness. Extreme wickedness. Go ahead.
And denying the only Lord God and our Lord Yahushua the Messiah.
And denying him. See, it's the same thing. Same thing that's happening today. They deny it. And so, one of their main things they love to say, no historian talked about him. None of his contemporaries talked about. What is that we just finished pulling? You see? So now you see the spirit behind someone telling you nobody talked about him, so you can be seduced and turn your back on your salvation and lose out on the very thing that we've been going so hard for, man. You dig? He said, if you lukewarm, I'm spitting you out my mouth. You got to be all in, man. Chips to the center of the table. Final answer, all in. The kingdom of heaven, a bus. Right, where you at?
Verse 5. It said, I will therefore put you in remembrance, though ye once knew this, how that the Lord, having saved the people out of the land of Egypt, afterwards destroyed them that believe not. That's major.
You see that?
That's major.
Save you about a bondage, and afterwards still bring you to the judgment. Destroy them that don't believe. You not messianics. Yeah, we coming up out of here. Huh? Yeah, we all Israel coming up out of here.
No doubt.
But the rebels must be purged in the wilderness.
No doubt. Just like in Mount Sinai.
Yeah, now either y'all the rebels or we the rebels. Oh, wait. Somebody lying about something.
Right, somebody wrong.
You dig? Somebody wrong about something. And your fancy, decrepit, decorated elder out of Shema Israel lied and say, no one talked about him. It's all a myth. And we just pulled 4 sources that talked about it. Huh? Somebody's lying, man. Somebody's lying. Dig? How did the Most High save the people out of Egypt afterward? He destroyed those that didn't believe. Now, trip off this, you can say, well, that's probably y'all. We go back to verse 1. Jude kick off his faith.
Yeah.
What that verse 1 say, y'all?
Verse 1 say, Jude, the servant of Yahushua, the Hamashiach,
Flat out.
and brother of James.
Come on.
To them that are sanctified by Yah, the Father, and preserved in Yahushua, the Hamashiach, and called.
You see what's going on here? He like those that deal with the Father and the Son. Right? If you ain't dealing with that, how did the Most High spur the people out of Egypt? Afterwards destroyed them that believe not. Destroyed them. You understand? That's what's coming. So you can't say that got to do with us. No, we believe. That got to do with the non-believers, those claiming to be non-messianic or non-anointed. All right, go ahead, Al. Read down to what you down to 6?
No, I'm at 6. It
Okay,
says, verse 6 says, and the angels which kept not their first estate, but left their own habitation, he had reserved in everlasting chains under darkness unto the judgment of the great day.
So he going into them too. Letting it be known. Anybody out of box, anybody out of line, you understand judgment is coming. So we just wanted to hit that real quick, man. Another Monday quarterback in historical evidence of the Messiah. I got a few more of them at the crib too, different cats, different authors or whatever. That was alive during the Roman Empire that could testify not only to the crucifixion of the Messiah, but also those that followed him. And if he wasn't invented to 325, there should be nothing in nobody's record before then talking about a crucifixion under Pontius Pilate. You feel me? Nor should he have any followers. He wasn't invented at 325 AD, according to y'all. We just proved that's a falsehood and a fable. Case closed.
Don't get back to your drawing board and come back with something.
Yeah, tell your decrepit elder he better repent for it's over. Y'all call him a chief prince. That man better repent, and y'all better repent. You understand? For rejecting the anointed of Yah, who he sent into the world, who he sent to get us straight. You understand? Anybody coming against that gonna get put down. Right? I know y'all brothers got something y'all say for close up.
Hey, it was a great lesson. You know what I'm saying? That's one thing that has to be looked at is, these people talking about the Messiah, like the Messiahs are through the scriptures. You know what I'm saying? We can't even get out of the Old Testament. Somebody will have to explain that angel on fire inside of the middle of the bush, burning, speaking to Moses. Or did you just think that there was just a bush on flame? We don't know. We don't know where you at with it, but it's definitely to be looked at. Like brother saying, we can get in the Psalms, we can look in Hebrew, see what this word salvation means. You know what I'm saying? What does salvation say in the word in Hebrew, in the Old Testament? You know what I'm saying? What is called the Old Testament? You know what I'm saying? But it's things to look at before we start jotting things out there as men, and then we come up to find out that we was wrong.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We don't want to be that type of a false prophet. You don't want to go down as a false prophet. You want to have this time of repentance and repent for these things. You know what I'm saying? But all praises to the 12 scattered abroad. It's your brother Reuben Ben Israel. Another Monday morning quarterbacking.
All praise glory now.
Hey, I just want to say, stay focused. Keep your hand to the plow. Don't be misguided and misled by these brothers leaning toward their own beliefs, their own interpretation. Be not easily swayed or distracted. You understand? We ain't got long, Babylon. We ain't got long, Zion, to the fall of Babylon. So, just keep your hand to the plow, man.
Yep. Stay focused out here, family. Another Monday morning quarterbacking, live with the brethren in this deal. And we proved our point that the Messiah, there are historical documents talking about the Messiah before the formation of Catholicism. We're not Catholics, we're not Catholics, and we're not into Christianity. Right? We into the commandments of the Most High and faith of his only begotten beloved Son. Long live the King of Kings, Lord of Lords.
Hey, some of y'all coming out to the Passover.
Yeah.
Most High willing, I hope to see some of y'all from these other states out here at the Passover.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be all praise due to the Most High to see some of the family come out and be able to shake hands and meet a couple of the brothers.
No doubt, man. And then we ain't gonna have class on the Shabbat because we got to be down to Omega Center by 4 o'clock. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know class go from like 1 to 5, 1 to 6 sometimes. So our last class for the week will be actually barbershop chop shop this Friday. Y'all willing? You feel me? It's gonna be a packed house. People coming in from out of town and all that. You understand? So until the next time, if the Most High say the same, we'll get back together, throw down on His word, pray for us as we continue to pray for y'all. Long live the King of Kings.
Long live the King. Yo.